Hey everybody, good morning and welcome, afternoon, I guess, evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Superman is your host, and wow, look at this. We've got the markets on the move. Boy, just about 5 minutes ago, we were almost up to 80,000 on Bitcoin, guys. We're at 79,900. We're going to check out the charts live now. They're moving around, a couple $100 every 5 minutes. It's pretty crazy. We got all the big weekly updates for the digital asset treasuries, obviously a key category of buyers. And of course, we've been watching that with digital credit in particular. And of course, we've also got not only we have Strategy and Strive, number 1 and number 7 digital asset treasury for Bitcoin. We also have the number 1 digital asset treasury for Ethereum, Bitmine, with a big move today. Pretty exciting, very exciting stuff there. We also saw Solana hit $100, so that was pretty cool. The other big thing, of course, is we're going to get into tokenization. We've got a nice update as well around Ondo and the tokenization theme. Of course, one of our macro themes for Ethereum. Very cool. As you guys know, macro and cycles drive the Bitcoin price and the Ethereum price and all that sort of stuff. So that's why we look at the big picture all the time. You're probably looking at 89% of the driver is in the big picture, not necessarily the smaller tactical stuff like dApps and things like that on the Ethereum chain, etc. Really, the big picture is very important there. Let's say 80-90%, and then 10% for some big applications. Maybe like Robinhood or Hyperliquid or Lighter, things like that. So that's kind of a backdrop to the big picture. That's why we follow it, right? That's why we always do the big picture stuff. All right, so let's get in house. We got Crypto Dan in the house. Hey, Superman. Hey, Crypto Dan. Welcome. We got Duke of Booze as well. Cheers, everybody. Cheers to you as well. Chin chin. Now, I think we do have PulseChain a little bit today. We'll check in on the markets there, just consolidating, but the macro is looking very good, particularly Bitcoin and Ethereum looking very good. And we'll check out some of the movers still. We've had some retraces in some of the popular ones. It's a bit of a mixed bag, but the majors are on the move, so that's kind of cool. All right, so where should we go here? We're going to go to the stock market quickly for Monday. Check out that, right? We always keep the big picture in mind, right? Because it's what's driving a lot of value for crypto. And so we're going to do that. We're also going to bring in the majors, so just do that as well. Right, let's get into it. We've got a very positive situation. We've got another big week, of course. We had the Secretary Scott Bessent do his speech, particularly around Iran. We've obviously got what else we got? We've got this week. We've got Nvidia on Wednesday. We got the core PCE data for inflation, and we've sort of got a little bit around GDP, I think it was, or manufacturing. Can't remember which one, but one of those ones. We'll check it out in a minute anyway. All right, so let's get into it as we go. So let's jump into the mix here. Don't forget to get in the chat there as well. Don't forget to subscribe, smash the follow, all the good stuff, all the YouTuber stuff. We got Wall Street steady, futures steady as investors brace for Nvidia result. Obviously, the Mag 7, right? The Magnificent 7 holding up, driving a lot of the stock market, a lot of the AI, all that sort of stuff. And at the moment, we had for Monday, the Dow Jones was up 0.25%, 140 points to 53,417. We got our little mini map here. We'll look at the last year. We are in record territory, right? So we're just off the high at 54,350. So we're only about 30, 40 points below the all-time high there. S&P 500 down 0.25%, 21 points to 7,652. We're just out the highs there as well, record highs of all time. And how much? Maybe 130 points. The Nasdaq with all the tech companies in it down 0.75%, 200 points to 25,980. We're just off the all-time highs as well. That was up at 27. So we're about 1,000, maybe 1,100 points off the high there. The Nasdaq, the dollar at the moment is down at 98.9. That's depreciated a bit, hasn't it, recently, particularly around probably the bond intervention there. We got the VIX volatility index is up 5%, but still below 16, 15.85. So still risk on, but up a little bit more there. And then commodities, what's that going on? We haven't got an $80 or below yet. We got West Texas at $85, up slightly, just a fraction. And then we got Brent oil at $90.50, up a fraction as well. And of course, we don't have any deal in the Strait of Hormuz. We have a lot of stuff happening on the sidelines. We have a lot of bypassing the Strait of Hormuz. We've got a lot of pipelines being built, a lot loading up. Arguably, we've got ups and downs in the amount of oil ships going through. Obviously, the US blockade is in place. And so I think some of the best results we got from the, who was it? One of the secretaries in the White House. I'm just trying to remember his name. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he basically indicated that they were doing 14 out of 20 million barrels. Now, that might come down a little bit, but, if there's 20% of the world's trade going through there for oil, let's say 20 million barrels, they're doing about 14 million through pipelines, landlines, alternative routes, and of course the US is now selling even more. So we've got ships lining up there, and the US is now producing more, I believe, oil than both Saudi Arabia and Russia together. So it's pretty amazing. So the worlds have changed a lot. So there's a lot of stuff happening there to dampen down the impact on the oil price. And obviously that goes up and down, every night, depending on how many ships get through. But that is kind of the idea. And we'll probably do an update on that. But so far, we haven't got below $80. We want to get $80. Obviously below that or better, it would be good. So we'll just keep a lookout for that. And obviously Trump overnight there with Secretary Scott Bessent is going to be upping the economic war against Iran in a big way. So that's going to roll out over the next week or so. We've got the gold at the moment up 0.8% at 4,735. So gold looking really good. Look at that. Looking really good. It did roll over, right? Rolled over all the way down to 4K almost, and is back up. They're now at 4,700. So really nice on gold. Also benefiting from, I guess, the interventionism from the Secretary Scott Bessent, and also silver at 1.1% there at $69.38. So silver had a nice little recovery as well. Copper, of course, is the star of the show. We're expecting copper to do extremely well. That is not quite broken out yet, but I think it's just going to do that. So keep a lookout for copper there. It is required for the intelligence age, data centers, everything else everyone's doing there. It's a pretty big deal. So that's the markets at the moment. It's a green pretty much. And if we go back to the indices, we've got the futures is 1/10% up. So it looks like the futures is looking good for an opening potentially. And the market will open back up in about, let's say 12 hours. But pre-market's in about 6 hours, so something like that. So just ballpark time frames. So that's kind of where we are. Let's have a quick look at zoom in a bit more on Secretary Scott Bessent, since we kind of covered it yesterday briefly, knowing that was coming up. He's basically warned countries doing business with Tehran they could face secondary sanctions. And so that's a big deal there, particularly between Russia, right, and what is it, the Caspian Sea? I think they have a trade route there, which is in the north of Iran. I think that's right. And so that's been an area of opportunity for the Iranians and the Russians to supply weapons, etc. China as well through and land routes as do. Warned countries doing business with Tehran that they could face secondary sanctions, while the administration outlined what it described as economic D-Day against Iran. That's a big deal. What else there? We got a little bit of dipping in the oil prices, as it says. What else there? Bond yields were pressured by lower than CNBC reported. That Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent could tap the department's nearly $1 trillion, general account to fund expanded bond buybacks. I believe the markets are targeting on the 30-year, maybe the 10-year, 30-year is about $2 trillion. So if that's the case, and we've seen pullback from China and I think Japan on buying those, and so that's because that's a much bigger deal rather than obviously we've got $2 billion coming up, moving to $4 billion buybacks in September. But they may double and triple that, to make sure that the interest rates move in the down, basically, from 5.2, I think, some 5.3, 5.2% down there. The main focus, however, is like to remain on NVIDIA, which is due to report second quarter fiscal 2027 results after Friday's close. So we'll be talking about that Thursday or Friday on our show. Chip makers' outlook will be closely watched for evidence that a massive spending on AI, so this is the big AI trade, of course, which has been pumping the stock market, infrastructure remains justified. So they'll be looking for, efficiencies and profitability there. Investors will also receive July personal consumption expenditures inflation data later this week, a gauge for the Federal Reserve, and the annual Jackson Hole Symposium begins on Thursday. So a big second half of the week, guys. But we've got a big first half of the week because when we talk about the digital asset treasuries and their updates during this show. So it is a big week, just like last week was big. This week's big too. Investors also, yeah. So we'll get an idea of that at the Jackson Hole. With also Fed Chair Walsh. Will he actually say much more than he has before? Obviously, less. He's moving to say less than that. But at the moment, I think we're moving towards neutral to dovish, which means maybe no interest rate rises or an interest rate rise by the end of the year. We'll see what happens with this personal consumption expenditure data on July. Recently, CPI, PPI, and employment data has been favourable for a more dovish, neutral to dovish stance rather than the hawkish stance that we had earlier in the year when Walsh first came in, and that moved to like 2 or 3 rate rises. That's now dissipating slowly. This is going to be a pretty big number on the Federal Reserve. On the inflation data on Thursday, and also Thursday on Wednesday, I think it is, and then on Thursday with the Fed chair with his forward-looking statements. So there we go. Markets are entering the week with little room for disappointment, and that would be true too. So these can all be tailwinds. In other words, all up market. They can also be disappointing and maybe be headwinds, right? So we'll see how that goes. But so far, the trend is your friend, and hopefully it ends up being tailwinds. So kind of cool. That is a pretty big deal there. Let's jump into the economic calendar briefly before we move on to crypto. Let's go to the economic calendar. So big week this week, guys. Could have a lot of tailwinds if all goes in our lands on the right side of things. So we want obviously inflation to be below 3.3%. Let's say 3.2 or something, or at least not bigger like meet expectations. And then of course we've also got the initial jobless claims on Friday that also be interesting, as well as the PMI for Chicago. So those were all because remember they've got an inflation and employment mandate, so a dual mandate as they say. So that's kind of the main thing there for the meeting. And of course, we're going to have Jerome Powell also at the Jackson Hole on Thursday. All right, so that's a big week ahead. That's all I basically can say. But we've got a big week to start. We've got these big digital asset treasury updates. We're going to get into that too. So let's get into the crypto majors. Let me do the refresh here. I'm very glad to say we're at the total market cap on CoinGecko is up 2% today. 2.76 trillion. First, being up for the first day of the week, very, very positive. So let's get excited about that. You guys were a bit late with the clap, but you got there at the end. All right, so up 2% today, 2.76 trillion. And let's look at Bitcoin at the moment. Bitcoin is on average up 2.7% at the moment, 79,690. But I tell you, just a few minutes ago, before we started the live stream, we were at 79,900, guys. So it's really trying to push to tackle that 80,000 mark. Ethereum at the moment is 1.4% at $2,493. Obviously, a critical line there as well. BNB at number 4 is up 1.2%. What else we got? We got the XRP at number 5, down 0.7% right now. Solana at number 7, up 7.1%. Really the winner today. Look at that, 7.1% on Solana. Tron up 0.5%, number 8. And then we got Hyperliquid down 3.1%. Gets quite heavily traded. It's a lot of profit taking on Hyperliquid, can go up dramatically, but also have pretty kind of strong moves to downside with some big bag holders, right? So just take note of that. And then we got Dogecoin number 11 down 2% at just above 9.1 cents at the moment. Pretty interesting there. Now let's look at the big movers over the last 24 hours in the top 100. So we look at the top 5. Well, we've got Injective up 8.3%. Solana, big move, 7.1%. Obviously, beneficiary not only of meme coins, but also of a lot of build outs by institutions coming in there, despite the chain not being as robust, I would argue, as Ethereum and so forth. So, but still doing pretty well. And of course, lots of speed, right? Lots of transactions per second there. Bitway, our big Bitcoin play, which has come in the top 100, been a very strong move, holding up very well. Obviously, with a lot of tailwinds. Up 6.9%. Now I'm just looking on Coinbase. We're going to get to it in a minute, but it's back up to 79,900. So I don't know. 80K, man, could be taken out during this live stream, guys. We've got Polmatic at number 4, up 6.7% at 11.5 cents. OKB up 5.2%. Those are the top 5 and the top 100 at the moment on CoinGecko. Top week, of course, Athena there, ETH Play 57. We've got Athena up 86%. Trump up 75.8% on the back of last week's positive White House movement for crypto. Pump Fund there up 75%. Obviously, high revenue platform with obviously the higher risk reward though, relative to say some of the more traditional dexes, etc. But Pump Fund there up 75%. Pudgy Penguins, Tom Lee's favorite, is up 66.6%, and then Zcash. Obviously, the argument, a lot of people that are bullish about Bitcoin and being early on Bitcoin also pushing Zcash now. We could see big things happening to Zcash, and that's up at 14.1 billion, but up 63% this week. Big move there for Zcash, guys. Big move indeed. In fact, we've seen some moves on the meme coins too. Pepe up is at number 6 is up 60%. So you guys can see some pretty interesting moves there at the moment. I do want to pick out a few more beyond the top 5. Obviously, Pepe, they're up 60%. XRP up 50%. Obviously, we're going to benefit from banking and stuff like that. Aave, they're up 50%. The lending. Lighter, of course, Hyperliquid's smaller brother, let's say. That has been powering up 47.6% for the week. $852 million. Big climb there. Pretty awesome. And then I guess we'll round it off here with Polmatic up 45%. So, some pretty nice numbers, guys. Some pretty nice numbers. A bit of altcoin season. Very cool indeed. Now, top 1,000 movers, we got Dgrid AI up 92%, Gecko up 48%, and Cashcat on Robinhood, I should say, up 41%. So some nice movers there in the top 1,000. Trending overall, Pump Fund. Now, we've seen this trending a lot, right, Pump Fund, but never... not Pump Fund. Let me back out of there. So it is trending at the moment overall. We've got Bitcoin at the moment up 2.7%, and Ponds there as well trending. So those are 3 trending there. I thought I was going to be talking about Pudgy Penguins, but that was not the case. All right, so that's the market, guys. We're up 2%, 2.76 trillion. And this is just the beginning, arguably, right? So if we're looking for this bull market cycle to do a 5, 10x or so, maybe even more, we're talking about going from 2.76 trillion over the next few years, maybe up to 27 trillion. Re-rating towards gold, or beyond even. So it's a very exciting time, guys. Remember, we were kind of moving. There's a lot of mega themes, but one of them is if AI and robots and all this sort of intelligence age is going to lead us into some sort of abundance, then scarcity is going to be really, really important. And of course, Bitcoin offers that as the anchor. And of course, a lot of AI has to operate, and that can operate on Ethereum and Solana and things like that. So big deal going on there. So keep a lookout. You guys are still early, relatively speaking, for that big picture. But nice little movements kicking off right now. Now let's get into Coinbase Bitcoin. This is the hourly chart, guys. Look at this, guys. This is the hourly chart. Look at it. Oh my God. Doing daily shows is great because often we're covering record moves, right? Record moves, both to the upside and downside. But at the moment, look at us, guys. We're on Coinbase. We're at 79,815 on the hourly, and we're trying to push up. And look, we've already done one attempt back here. How many hours ago was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, maybe 10 or 11 hours ago, we made an attempt there, probably when the DAT stuff came out, right? The DATs, we had a nice little rally into there in the hourly. And we got up to 79,999.99. What the hell? Has this manipulated the markets? We got up. That was the high on Coinbase, 79,999.99. What the hell? That's just crazy. And look at where we are now. We actually hit 80,000, guys, on this current hour. 80,000 is exactly hit. Is this market manipulation, guys? I mean, come on. I mean, these numbers are just ridiculous. And here we are. Are they bots? I don't know. You get it. You get it. So we're pressing up against 80,000. Second attempt within hours, within a day, half a day. 2 attempts already. And are we going to do it? Well, it's looking very promising, isn't it? And I said in the title of the video, are you bullish enough? Are you bullish enough? Now, obviously, when we have a big pump like we have had over the last week, people get a bit nervous, right? They get a bit nervous. And so they're going like, is at the end, are we going to come down? And, a lot of the time we do come back down, right? But I think we've broken some key lines, and I've talked about that in the previous days, trend lines and so forth. We're not out of the woods yet, for the bear market. I think we still need one more confirmation for the bear market, but it looks like we're attacking that now. We're trying to do it, so pretty important. Let's just jump into the 4-hour chart from the hour. That was a bit of fun. I always like looking at the hour chart, especially when it's going up like it is. That's the 4-hour chart. Look at that, guys. Look at the 4-hour 50 moving average. It is up at 71,000, almost 72,000. You guys know, I think over the last since the last bull market period, 71,000 is the midpoint, right? So 71,000 is key. So even if we had a retrace, let's assume we had a retrace, holding over 71,000 is a key marker for one of those markers for getting over the bull market. It's just one of those first clues. We do need to get over 82,200, but if we hold on to 71,000 on any retrace, so let's assume a retrace comes in the next day, in the next week or so, whatever, that we do need to hold 71,000. So just keep that in the back of your mind that we need to hold that, right? So let's go from the 4-hour. Let's go to the daily. Very important, the daily, right? I'll get rid of the overlays, and you can see the moving averages here. We've got the 50-day moving average at 65,775. We've got the 200 daily moving average at 69,132. Not over 70K quite yet, but as I say, that key marker there, 71,000, very key. That's kind of the midpoint from that last bull market rally. And then we've got a very impressive, important time coming up here for the daily. So let's add back the overlays. You can see the target. That's the target there, guys, 82,300. And you guys know where we got it from, right? The third, we zoom back out here. I'm going to go to the weekly on that, actually, but you see that we've got this coming up. If this orange, if this yellow line or red line still come off, right? Still a gap of about here. If this is based on current law, line, right, and stay baby quantitative easing, let's say. So it's got cushion as tailwinds, right? And only oil there kind of holding us back at the moment. It's kind of a major headwind. Inflation's going to be important though moving forward. So obviously we continue to get good data. That's going to make us more dovish, and that is going to be a tailwind if it goes in our favor, which is what I'm expecting to happen this year. And so far, so good. Now let's get to this numbers here. So we've got the 50 weekly moving average at 81,085, and we've got the previous third lower high here in our bear market. Around, we look here around 82,800. We got this one here, 82,300 there. I kind of feel like 82,300 is the key line there. Punched above that, very, very cool. And if we get over 83,000, then we're well clear, right? So we're looking forward to that. And, based on previous times, we get multiple green candles in a row. We got the Clarity Act coming up here that we could get nice green candles going into there, setting us up for the bull market. Now, once we get sort of past that level, we get into bull market theory, we want to get a weekly close. We also want to know that if we do retrace in the future, there's always retraces, right? I mean, you see that even in the bull market, right? So up here, a little bit of retrace, sideways movement up again, a little choppy down to the downside, back up again, right? So you get my idea there. But we're looking really good here for some green weeks, I think. Really think it's looking really good. And once we get over here, that's kind of confirmation that we've got the bear market behind us, and we've got this big movement forward, and we've got structural change. And therefore we front run the old 4-year October bear scenario, right? So and so far so good. We're very close, guys. Very close. It could happen today. Could happen this week. We've got a lot of big things here. Now, if we get any negative news, like the inflation is over 3.3%, then that could pull us right back down, right? So just take note of that. That's why we're watching these things carefully roll out. So far, they've been in our favor, so may they continue, right? And we got the bigger picture, right, around the Clarity Act and the insurance policy with the regulators now. So very key there. So we're watching markets tonight. Obviously, futures are green. We have the good digital asset treasury updates, right? So we're going to get to that too. So really, really cool stuff here. We're at 79,900, guys. We have touched 80,000 today on Coinbase. It could be exciting today, so keep a lookout for that. Very, very cool. And of course, that all positive flywheel stuff, right? Digital asset treasury will start running even more, all that sort of stuff. Really, really cool. We got Craig Pittenhouse there. Morning all. Good to see you, Craig. We got Sean as well. Up only brothers and other mothers. We got Krista says we've lost sound. Are you serious? Are you serious? Have you lost sound? Man, looks good to me. Damn it! I've been talking for all this time, and it's not even showing. Let me just refresh. Let me refresh here. All right, so presumably I'm back. Crypto Jack says I can hear you. Good now, says Jerry. Okay, you're back, but we missed about 3.5 minutes of your TAs, says Christos. Well, sorry about that. Screen moving, no sound. So hopefully you guys can see me now. Let's share the screen again. I'm not sure how much I missed. We went through CoinGecko. Everything was green. So let me know when it actually fell over, because it seemed on my studio it was showing up the whole time. So but sometimes maybe it's not feeding out on the actual outputs. Smash that like and subscribe to Crypto Jacks, absolutely. So anyway, here we are. So obviously we went through crypto majors, everything looking pretty great. And now here we are on Bitcoin. Hopefully you guys have heard most of this. But basically, I went through the hourly and the 4 hourly, but here we are on the weekly now. And we are on this final leg, right? So we're at the third lower high. And we're pretty much at that. I think 82,300 is the key mark. If we get over 83, then we're well over that final seal of approval that, from my point of view, the bear market is over. Obviously, there's lots of other signals, lots of other approaches to look at that, but we're looking very good at the moment, and we may very well have big green weeks ahead of us now that we've got the Clarity Act vote and, of course, the insurance policy of the regulators there. And, of course, we've got all the other themes going on with digital credit, and of course with the Ethereum and stablecoins, tokenization, AI, all that sort of stuff. So everything on the move here. And we got the liquidity event with the Treasury there intervening on the yen and, of course, the bond market. And they've got $1 trillion purse there. They can help support that and double down after September, right? So it's kind of the tailwinds there. We're in a very exciting times, as you can see. That weekly candle there last week, absolutely powerful, right? I think it's a record high, a record move. I think it's the biggest one we've ever had. And looking back here, and we may have multiple green weeks ahead of us. We're tackling 80,000. We hit 80,000 so far already in the last hour. Are we going to do it? We've done it twice in the last half a day. And of course, here we are, key zone. It's not very that high, but percentage-wise, but there's a lot of sell walls, in the mix there. Only 3% a gain or more, but obviously around 80k into that lower high is a lot of sell pressure there. So obviously the bulls have to really show their hand. That's kind of it. So hopefully everyone's caught up there on the charts, and it's exciting. So are you bullish enough? That was the title of the video there. All right. A lot of people have been missed out, right? Because a lot of people were expecting 40k, 50k down in October, which is fair enough. Fair enough. We've seen a lot of history rhyme and repeat. But the chances of moving that early, and I've been talking about that for several months, is pretty good. And so far, everything's playing out pretty well as tailwinds. Like I say, inflation and the Jackson Hole speech is going to be very important moving in the rest of the week, as of course NVIDIA too, holding up the stock market, right? The stock market historically comes down 10%. Ethereum can go down like 25%. If it comes down 20%, which is major corrections in the majors, then we would be down 50% Ethereum, right? So there is this wealth effect and momentum as well to take note of. All right, so pushing higher, guys. Let's go back to the hourly here quickly on Bitcoin before we move on. But look, we're trying to get over 80k, and we've touched it in very, very cool, right? So exactly 80k, and back about 10 hours ago, we're at 79,999.99. I mean, it's crazy. So yeah, we're trying. The market's trying. All right, so there we go. That is Bitcoin, and of course, some of the bullish news overnight was from the digital asset treasury updates, which we always love every week, don't we? We love these. They're great. They're great. Definitely great for content, but we love them too. They're on the move there now. Obviously, Michael Saylor's pioneering this digital credit idea, and that is tapping the debt markets, which are a couple $100 trillion, let's say 350, and of course offering a yield spread there, massive, right? Instead of 2 to 4%, you get like 11, 12, 13%. It's a big deal there, and if you've got the price of the collateral going up, if you've got abundance in all these other markets starting to grow, that's just the beginning of that phase, and then you've got to be chasing something scarce. What's scarce? Well, Bitcoin, right? And so you've got these two wonderful things, like a big stretching out literally, and it's pretty exciting between the yields you're offering in the bond market and this increasingly potential value of Bitcoin you're backing collateral, right? It's a pretty cool way of looking at it, right? It's pretty exciting, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, stretching out to infinity and beyond, we would hope. Big thumbs up there from Diamond Hands. Big shout out there. Thanks very much, and a big shout out to everybody in the community. Don't forget to smash the subscribe, hit the follow button as well. Strategy increased their USD reserve by 5.1 billion, established additional US cash of 1.59 billion. So I think they went to the market ATM. I think it was about $2 billion. They've repurchased, at least a more than a symbolic amount of stretch. Their preferred stock, 136 million there. And I can't remember the stretch of market cap. I think it's like 6.5 billion or nine. I think it's 9.5 billion actually. So it's supportive of the price getting back to $100 on the par. And that, as of the 23rd of August, there, strategy holds 4% of the total BTC supply, and now has moved to zero net leverage. And of course, we talked about this being one of the potential goals. One of the goals that I said that they need to move. This is some time back now. Was moving to 3-year coverage, right? And they've done that today. So they're back to 3-year coverage. And now they've moved into additional USD cash of 1.6 billion. Of course, with that cash, they can go buy more Bitcoin or all sorts of options there. So they've gone back to full credit management. Now, short-term, I guess a short-term kind of impact on the MSTR holders, which holds the Bitcoin. But for long-term gain, right? Once those stretch printers start printing up, you get your capital, get back your good capital management, and then that's a short-term pain for the common holders, and then you end up issuing more stretch, and then getting amplification and building back that Bitcoin per share, right? So this is kind of the play, and they're pretty much, I would say, probably finished here is my guess. Now they will obviously use the mechanisms at different times to make sure they're keeping those coverage amounts relative to where we are moving forward. So there are obviously a bit of adjustments there, but I think the main moves have probably been made now. So 3 years of stretch coverage and money to buy Bitcoin and other stuff like that. So increase that Bitcoin per share. So pretty awesome stuff. Great goals there, and I think the market received that really well, at least modestly well. US Cash enhances our digital credit capital framework and is separately designated for general Bitcoin treasury company purposes, including, so that's that $1.6 billion amount, that new cash pile is acquiring Bitcoin, paying preferred dividends and interest, which is interesting because obviously got the other mark there, repurchasing MSDR preferred stock as well, so increasing your Bitcoin per share that way. Repayment of converts, of course, which I think was at 4.7, 5.7 or 5.4, somewhere in that ballpark. Actually, I think it's 5.5, isn't it? Yeah, like 5 billion. We'll go check that, but it's pretty close. And increasing USD reserve as well. So there we go. These actions further strengthen stretch. USD duration is now 3.9 years, 414 days, and stretch BTC credit is 59 basis points there, assuming these assumptions there. So that was pretty well received. Jeff Walton from Strive, the seventh biggest digital asset treasury, says big week, right? So big week there. Now, Peter Schiff, of course, talking about the short-term damage. Obviously, into gold there, says this is your biggest 1 week destruction of common shareholder value. Year-to-date Bitcoin yield is now negative 3.3% about 3 months ago. So obviously a bit of a short-term hit for a longer-term gain. And once you get that stretch printer up there, you're back into adding Bitcoin per share there. So that's why I say short-term hit, big long-term gain, right? Ultimately. All right. So and the market, liked it. The market was up a couple of percentage points on MSTR overnight. All right, so we're going to check that out too. I guess we'll come back to the impact here. The second one was Strive, of course, the number seven biggest digital asset treasury for Bitcoin. Strive acquired an additional 1,110 Bitcoin for 81.5 million, an average cost of 73,400 per Bitcoin, bringing total holdings to 21,356 Bitcoin there. So pretty good there. Nice work. And of course, Matt Cole there has got the full 8K. For additional information, Michael Saylor even responding there, saying be Bitcoin 1110. So he likes that too. Big fan there. One of the platforms offering these preferred stocks options is not options, preferreds. When I say options, but preferreds is Roxham, and they like that too. Holy guacamole, that's a lot of Bitcoin, and it is relative to the size of Strive, right? Strive's number 7 there, and 1,100 Bitcoin's a big move. So powerful stuff there. Now we're going to come back. Let's go to the Bitcoin treasuries. I'm not sure if I got them on here out here. Would have got the Bitcoin treasuries. Yeah, let's bring it up. All right, and then we're going to get into Ethereum. Right, we're going to get into Ethereum after that. But let's look at the rankings now of the top digital asset treasuries. Remember, Bitcoin's got a lot of DATs that are operational, right? The big two we talk about all the time, Strategy and Strive, because they're the most active. But we're going to see a lot of action happening with Metaplanet. We've already seen some of that already set up for a bigger move. 21 Capital as well. Bitcoin Standard Treasury. There's many of these that will be on the move, and we've seen a lot of the smaller ones come in too, new players. Orange BDC, H100 Group. There's heaps of these. All right, Ionic Digital. Keep a look out for those. They're all 2,000-3,000 Bitcoin. That all adds up though, right? And we'll keep a watch out for those too. But let's come to Strategy. Strategy is still sitting on 840,000 Bitcoin, 447. Strive is now on 21,356. Really big move there. Kind of cool. And so those are the two big moves. Now, digital credit course targeting the debt markets to raise capital to buy Bitcoin. People watching that as a major catalyst for Bitcoin. Even though Michael Saylor, was selling a little bit of Bitcoin to get his capital managed back up, and also not buying Bitcoin, they have to get themselves in shape, right? So I think this is heading in the right direction for the capital management once and for all. And of course, we've got the rating agencies also wanted to see whether they could sell Bitcoin too, right? So it's been one of those goals that they've hit. And the market moved up. The market moved up regardless of strategy, right? So some key sort of themes there. Stretch at the moment, $97.22. It's getting there. It's a slow grind. So even with all this great capital management, it's slowly getting there, $97.22, guys. on stretch, and so far so good. I think it got down $75 was the low, somewhere in that ballpark. But look at the trend, the trade over here. So it started off around about $96.50. It's got to head up to $100, right? That orange line up there. So it's still quite a bit away, but it's getting closer and closer. It's closed the gap by maybe $22 or something like that. It's $2.70 below the $100 right now. They need to get back to $100 so they can issue more stretch, raise market for raise money from the debt market and buy Bitcoin. That's basically the idea, and return some of that BTC per share back to the MSTR common stockholders, right? Which have kind of been somewhat diluting at the margin there at the moment. All right, so that is key. So we're watching that. Will they make it before the end of this week, guys? Before the end of August? Certainly heading in the right direction. Trend is your friend. It's kind of getting there on there, and you can see most of the volume there too. We shall see. We shall see, guys. But anyway, $2.70 below. They're getting there slowly. Who's there already? Well, this is a good sign as well. The fact that Strive is there already. Strive, of course, having no debt and just full amplification. But now that strategy's moved to net zero net debt, it's kind of a cheap way of getting to it, right? That's what the US government might do, guys. That's what the US government might do with their 40 trillion debt, is maybe get the Bitcoin and pump it to the moon and do something like that, right? Say, look, this is worth 40 trillion in Bitcoin. This is 40 trillion in debt. We just net it out, right? Hey, good credit rating. You know how it rolls, right? A little bit of balance sheet play there. Blair in the house there. Hi, all. Good to see you, Blair. Welcome to the chat. And it's always good to see all the OGs in the chat there today. All right, so we've got SATA. This is the preferred stock for Strive. And of course, the Strive adding 1,110. We know that last week they bought about 430 plus Bitcoin, and I guess the rest was ATM on the market for the common stock, and ended up buying another say 600 or so, just say maybe 550 or something. But there, look at $100 in one, guys. Woo-hoo-hoo. Now they offer slightly higher dividend, right? 13% compared to Stretch's 12%. But looks like last night they raised enough money for another 192, so that's the third day in a row that they've been on the move, and this is bodes well for to some degree for Michael Saylor's Stretch. However, some of the same people going are probably swapping in between, right? Especially when Stretch went down really low, down to $75. People swatching between these products, so there'll be a bit of that going on too. But anyway, closed above $100, which is cool. When it gets to $100.01, you can issue more Stretch, raise more capital, buy more Bitcoin. That's the trick, right? That's the trick. But you get a good capital management. And what does we know about Strive? They are professional money market, debt market managers. I'm sure Michael Saylor's taken a bit of knowledge off them to fix up their balance, their capital management. And I think he's probably done with that for the most part now that he's got 3 years of coverage, etc. But look at the regular hours here. So remember we saw Stretch was below $100, $2 or so, $2.30. Well, these guys are on the orange line. It's the $100 mark. So these guys are printing. And this is accelerating them forward, right? Still small by comparison to Strategy, of course, with 840,000 Bitcoin. These guys got 21,000, but they're gaining big numbers. So if let's look at the big vision of abundance versus fixed supply for Bitcoin, relatively fixed supply for Bitcoin, then we're looking at something that is actually scarce in a world of abundance. So if you go with that whole idea, then Strategy could end up being one of the most valuable companies in the world as a store of value, particularly as a debasement trade, right, with this money intervention and money printing. And then you have Strive could potentially be the fastest growing company on the planet, right? So there's some of the ideas. This is relative to these with Bitcoin, store of value and scarcity and debasement, relative to say AI companies, right? So you got that sort of contrast. And who will be the most valuable company? Will it be Nvidia? Will it be SpaceX? These sort of things like that. So we've got this big debate going on there, but exciting competition nevertheless. But Strive on the move here, and what a big move in price it had on the market overnight. Hit over $20 again, so that's cool. So that's some of the big stuff happening there for starter. Matt Cole is the CEO there. And like I say, exciting times and bodes well. All right, so that is the Bitcoin coverage. We love the weekly updates. There's a lot more out there on that topic, a lot of analysis out there, but that's a really a quick summary of some of the cool stuff happening here. And week after week, it's going to be interesting. Can they can Stretch get to back to printing? Because this is all positive flywheel stuff, right? Buying more Bitcoin. They raise billions of dollars, they buy tens of thousands of Bitcoin. That's kind of the idea, right? So we're excited about that. And we've already seen the ETFs come in real strong, right? Buying up a Bitcoin in the last week or so. So it is very exciting. In fact, into the billions now on the ETFs in the last week have they been buying Bitcoin, and in maybe 700 million or so buying Ethereum. So Ethereum getting a lot of love too. Exciting times, guys. Exciting times. Another sign potential of the bull market too. Let's jump over to Ethereum and get into the Bitmine digital asset treasury, the number one digital asset treasury run by Tom Lee. This will also be competing for being an extremely valuable company in the future, and we're excited to see where it will go. But let's kick it off with the hourly charts on the old Ether. Now, we've got a great bunch of people watching right now, so I really appreciate that. We're sharing the same journey as well. We do our best to get all the issues out and see what's going to pump the bags. We're still at the early phase of takeoff, so it's exciting from where we go from here. There's Ethereum at the moment on Coinbase. We've got the price at 2,495. So a little bit more demure. We've got Bitcoin trying to tackle the 80,000 mark. Here we are. Now, a few hours ago, back when the digital asset treasury came out, we got up to 2,533, which is almost back to where we had that big rally on Friday, where we got up to 2,548. So some pretty big testing, still momentum to the upside. These digital asset treasuries came out with some real pearlers, helping to fuel that too for the beginning of the week. So here we are, pretty exciting. And of course, we had Secretary Scott Bessent talking about that $1 trillion bag that they have to maybe prop up the bond market, and then maybe they're going to have to double down. We'll be watching that post September. Very cool. So this is where we are right now, moving higher there on the hourly. Always fun. Let's see where we go. Obviously, we've got a little bit of work. We're going to jump straight to the 4 hour. We've got the 4 hour 50 moving average at 2,235. You can see on the 4 hour here, this is kind of the trading view. We've got a higher low here at 23.55. We're now trying to push up against this mark 25.45. But let's go to the daily because it's kind of the key measure. And the daily there, we've got, look at this, even better than Bitcoin, right? We've got a golden cross potentiality coming up closer here, and the gap is closed dramatically. We were at like $100, and now we're at like $60, maybe $65. So this is closing out real quick on the golden cross. That will just add fuel to the fire, generally speaking, all things equal. But very exciting. Now let's add in, I don't know if I've got the overlays here, do I? Maybe on the weekly. Yeah, no, not there. So let's go to the weekly chart here. Before we do that, let me just say that the 200 daily moving average is at $2,012, and the 50-day is at $1,948. So like I say, about $60 to close that. It's a lot easier, it seems, than Bitcoin, perhaps. We'll see. But let's go to the weekly, and we have had some other blues clues here, right? So we already talked about the Bitcoin chart. This is the resistance here for the bear market. Obviously we had the top here, we had the second lower high, third lower high, and at the moment we are above the third lower high. So actually relatively better than Bitcoin, right? Which is trying to get over that third, doing that fastly to potentially be a major confirmation of the bear market's in, and the new bull market is beginning. So at the moment, we've got the 200 weekly moving average. So kind of like the 4-year cycle is at 2,497, and we're at 2,493 right now. But we have been over 25.33 today, above that level. So we've got a big battle going on here. Obviously, typically a lot of more sell pressure at these ranges. And so the bulls have to be, pretty mighty against the bears. Bears are getting pretty smashed, particularly in the perpetual markets, as we say. And look at above us, we've got the 50 weekly moving average at 25.83. We haven't got over that yet. The closest we got is what did we get there? 265. What were we on that day, actually? 264. So we got to 2625 last week. It was sitting around about that mark, actually. I mean, we're just slightly below. You can see we're slightly below the 50-week moving average there. That was maybe $30 difference, but here we're getting really close on the weekly here. Look at that. So we power past that, guys. Really huge, and there's not a lot of volume, right? Typically between that and maybe 2,800. So we could get a big re-rate on the weekly here if we pass these marks here with good strong closes. So if Bitcoin goes at 80K, we power up even more on the move, and so far we are beating Bitcoin in the recovery. That's huge, right? Huge to the upside. Let's take it from the bottom here. So we bottomed out at 1,500, and here we are up 65% already, guys. So better than Bitcoin as well. Maybe Bitcoin was doing what, 25, 30%, maybe 33%. We're basically double that. And we could get another re-rate, right? We could get nice weekly green candles, just like we did last year, right? Last year, 133 days, guys. It got a bit choppy, but look, things are different this time. Like last year was the stablecoin, tariff recovery, short coverage, and particularly the DATs coming in buying. Well, now we got particular industry themes for Ethereum and Solana, etc. We've got stable coins continuing, a little bit more DATs buying, and of course, particularly the big themes are tokenization, and of course, AI and agentic AI payments and all that sort of category. Now, and we've got obviously the same thing with Clarity Act. Particularly, this is not so as important for Bitcoin because Bitcoin's a commodity, but this is really important for Ethereum. And we've got this, same argument there that we've got this insurance policy with regulators if the Clarity Act doesn't go through in September the 15th. Now, market's expecting maybe 15 to 25%, probably on the lower end, and we'll see what happens there because politics is coming even more important in November with the midterms. Trump did make a win today, I think, with ballot voting with the Supreme, I think it was the Supreme Court. So that's bullish for getting, clean elections. When Democrats love dirty elections. So they always win in the states where there has no digital ID, right? And they win with landslides. So you know how it works. They shut down the mainstream media cameras on the election night, and around all the battleground states, they're losing. And then suddenly they open up in the middle of the morning. A lot of trucks have been seen, and suddenly they're winning the elections. You guys know. And then they pretend there was no corruption, the whole time. There's no corruption. They tell you as many times as they want, and they hopefully all the idiots believe it, and they do tend to do that. So that's kind of where we are. We're at 2,495. Let's see where we go here. Now, obviously in October, you guys know what we got, man. We got the big play. DTCC's coming in. This is the big waterworks company for traditional finance settlements, and this is coming over to blockchain. They're going to need multiple blockchains to do it, and lots of upgrades to the blockchains as well to expand. But they're coming over with 114 trillion in assets under management. And get this number, they did 4.6 quadrillion in settlements last year. A quadrillion. We're not talking about billions or trillions. We're talking about quadrillions now last year. And just a fraction of that coming over to the chain is massive, right? And so that means that in all things equal, Ethereum, Solana, etc., should re-rate dramatically. Obviously, other chains like Canton, it's going to be pretty powerful stuff. Very cool. So if we got to 5K on the last year in 133 days on the back of stablecoins, what can we do this time? Particularly once we get these final confirmations of getting out of the bear market, what can we do? And the first leg for the bull market, arguably, what can we do for? What will we do this time? Will we be $10,000, $15,000 Ethereum in the next 6 to 24 months, right? So big numbers there. And of course, we've got the Clarity Act, it's 15th September. October is the DTCC coming in, which I think is even bigger deal in the short term because we're going to have instant rollouts with all their clients. Can't wait to get out on the blockchain and tokenize their stocks. And now we've also got on top of that the agentic AI boom really starting to take off too. So we've got two takeoff things happening there. And of course, modern finance is moving to blockchain. This is modern finance, moving to blockchain there. Very exciting. And I think also we're going to have not just institutional adoption, which has already been happening, but also we're going to have retail mass adoption for the first time. It's going to be truly massive. And there's going to be many routes for that. Maybe it might be X Money Wallet moving to crypto. Maybe it's going to be Mr. Beast with Bitmine immersion with reaching 1 in 3 people on the internet. There's all these things happening, guys, and it's cooking. Everything is cooking. And it's a lot of the stuff's happening very short term. Now, this is going to ramp up, right? So this doesn't happen in one day when the DTCC comes in, but their clients will be going boom, 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 boom. It is going from trial phase in July to production phase in October, and that's a big step jump for the production level as well. So the Waterworks company is coming to the blockchain. Very powerful stuff, right? So awesome stuff. Many variables are moving. These are the big picture items. So we could see some really aggressive stuff here. And, if the stablecoin boom got us to 5K again the second time, we've got this big long-term, resistance at 5K. But now things are actually real, right? We've got all these real things happening on Ethereum. Very exciting, and many more. Now, we've also got, obviously, moving to a more commercial approach with Ethereum, with all these new nodes, Ethereum Foundations, Ethereum Labs, Ethereum institutional, all these things like that are on the front foot there and bring mass adoption as well. So really, really fun stuff, guys. Really, really fun. All right, so that is the weekly there. I think we're looking really good. Now, obviously, we get pullbacks. Even when we get big moves, we'll have pullbacks, we'll have choppy periods. So take note of that. But it's feeling particularly bullish about where we are at the moment. Obviously, we're at the crossroads this week. And then if we pass the crossroads, are we going to get a third week bullish into this 15th September? Certainly looking very promising there. And so, yeah, let's see where it goes. It's going to be fun. We're pretty much crossroads right now. And we've got to get past these moving averages. And of course, Bitcoin over 83,000, in particular 82,200 as a key mark there. And of course, 80 right now. And play pretty soon. They've got to and video. I don't know why it's cutting. I've got hardly anything open either. Testing. I don't know. We had a few still studio issues in the last week. I don't know what it is. I'm not really doing much different than normal. All right. So yeah. Let's see. Let me just go check the feed on X just to make sure it's showing up. Let's see. Am I there? Hello. Oh, we're still back there. Let me. Oh no, it looks in. So what's that on? Oh yeah, we're just looking at myself. Looks like I'm okay. All right, so it looks like everything's okay. Let me know if it's not, but it looks like everything's back up and running there. Cutting in and out. You're back now. That's good. That's good to know. All right. So yeah, we've got pretty good numbers happening here. 8Co. So keep a lookout for that. All that's part of the superstructure on top of Bitmine, right? So think of the DAT, the actual ETH held as the foundation, and the staking there is the foundation, and then of course this is the superstructure there. It was short-lived. I have no idea what's going on there, Christos, if that is happening, because it's all seems to be running smoothly here. So yeah, if anyone else can let me know in the chat there as well, if they've been experiencing, it'd be cool. All right, so that's kind of the key there. Now Tom Lee said ETH gained 30% in the past week. This is the largest weekly gain since May 25. Prior to that, it was July 2021. And those two precedent instances, this weekly gain of greater than 30% signaled a launch point for a larger move in ETH. And we just saw that based on last year, right, where we had that 3.5x in ETH rally in under 33 days. So pretty cool. In July 2021, ETH subsequently gained 167%. And after May 25 last year, of course, we saw in the chart there 170%. So we've just had this 30%, so foundation for a big move higher, maybe over the next few months. Very exciting. And of course, we've got, like I say, DTCC coming in and the Clarity Act potentially also. We expect easing financial conditions to be a tailwind. So basically talking about employment and inflation there, and that's been softer, more dovish, right? Very cool. You can see some good stuff happening in that space. All right, so let's jump up here. So we've got some good movements happening here. This is comparison to last year, right? So they had the big candle there, 30% move point there in 2025, and then had that 3-month rally. While also in 2021 they had the big movement there, and then they had the big 167% rally. So now he's indicating, well, this looks like what we've got now, and it does feel like that. As I said, pointed out all these tokenomics, pumperment macro themes bullish for us, and so we could see that too coming up today, maybe next week. This week in particular, just getting over. We might do it today, but just getting over those key bear market resistances on that third lower highs. Very key there. We've already done it for Ethereum, but can we do it for Bitcoin? Now, one thing I didn't talk about was the ETH to Bitcoin ratio. So it's sitting at about 3.1%. We saw it recently at 3.3%. We know that the 4-year average is around 4.2, I think it is 4.5%, somewhere in the ballpark, and so that's a key indicator as well. But we're expecting Ethereum to do better than the 2021 high of 8.9%. And go well beyond that. Who knows? It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I think it's going to be pretty awesome, right? This is the best time on the planet to make magic money with Ethereum, right? So, and we're on that first sort of wave. Pretty cool. Number 3, over the past week, we acquired 32,447 ETH, so a big jump in the ETH. Previous week, they bought just under 10,000 and 7,400 the week before. The last time they had big buys relative to this week of 32,447 was kind of back here in July. 27 and 42,000 in those weeks. Bitmine has bought ETH every week since the inception of ETH Treasury on June the 30th, about 14 months ago. So, about 60 weeks in a row buying ETH. So powerful stuff, and done pretty well there. As of the 23rd of August, Bitmine total staked ETH stands at 5,067,000, 12.4 billion at $2,440. Annualized staking revenues are now predicted at 330 million, and this 5.1 million ETH is 87% of the 5.87 million ETH that they've held. Now, the differential is about 13% of the ETH that they hold, which is 5.85 million, and they're not too far away from their 6%. Sorry, their 5% or 6 million ETH, and they'll just get there slowly, is my guess, before the end of the year. Now, one thing I'll say about that, they may use the rest of the ETH that they got liquid to, Tom Lee's indicated just in an interview overnight, that they may use that to do permanent capital, investing in other yield opportunities, right, to monetize that. So we saw SBET or SharpLink in the last week do a big amount of money into Lido as permanent capital. Pretty interesting there. Now, they're two different DATs have got different focuses and different costs and responsibilities, but basically both of the two top digital asset treasuries in Ethereum, essentially long capital, although Bitmine probably a bit more flexible around selling some of their staking revenue to pay off their preferreds and also do other things. So we'll see. By other companies and stuff like that. Bitmine's own staking operations generated a yield of 2.67% at scale when Bitmine's ETH is fully staked by Maven, which is their staking platform, also offering about $2 billion to third parties now. So they're making money that way too. And projected ETH staking reward is 381 million on an annualized basis. That's at 2.67%. Now, obviously, as Ethereum doubles, then all this stuff doubles, right? So, Ethereum doubles. That's 5,000. This is now, close to, 650 or so, maybe $700 million. So just it's really just re-rates the whole value of the company pretty dramatically. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, of importance, of course, we've been following the ETH to BTC ratio, which I just mentioned earlier, has moved up during crypto cycles, driven by increased use of Ethereum relative to Bitcoin. And this is what we expect to be the case, right? Now, prior cycles, the big market was moved. ICOs moved the market in 2017, 2018. NFTs were a big deal in 2020, 2021. You guys remember the big guys paying $3,000, $5,000, pushing those gas fees up to mint their NFT. Crazy stuff, right? Stable coins, 2025, of course, we saw last year as a big rally. This upcoming cycle, of course, we see ETH BTC ratio rising, driven by Wall Street tokenization on the blockchain. Like I said, the DTC coming in, particularly in October, is the key milestone, I think, for this. And agentic AI using blockchains, which is going to be completely explosive, and of course, probably leaving humans' financial activity in the dust. That will be just a little fraction of a percentage in the future. That's kind of where we're seeing this going, right? Pretty crazy. So here's a big map of the big picture related to Ethereum in particular. And we've got the ICO boom, we've got the NFT boom, we've got the stable boom, and where are we going this time? We're currently at about 3.1% of Bitcoin. Is it going to go to 8.9% like we saw back in 2021, or even the ICO boom back 2017 of 15% or beyond? So that's going to be pretty exciting. I think we're going to have a fun time. Very cool there. So that is the ETH to BTC ratio. Pretty cool. And then number 6 here, we got Bitmine Common Equity, BMNR, as the highest correlation to ETH of any US company. And we can see it's at 80% there. You can see many of the other well-known crypto companies as well, including MSTR, Galaxy down here, all these other ones, Robinhood, etc. And ETH is the BMNR is the top there. So the king of the hill, as they say, the king of the hill. So that was the update for Bitmine and the markets. Like I said, the market really received the response there very, very well in the markets, right? So we saw, I don't know what we got here, but let's look at MSTRs. MSTR there overnight. Let's have a quick look here. That went up 3.38% on the news. It was certainly up higher than that. It went up to $128 during the day at the beginning. We also have, obviously, let's look at a few others here. We've got BMNR, the Bitmine one. That went up a lot too. And of course, 5.7% on the news. So really like that update. $24.14, pretty important. Also, a big liquidity gap there, up to 28. So we could see even a bigger move with more positive news. We break that 25K on those key marks. We could see this quickly jump to $28. That'd be pretty interesting. And also Strive, right, which is ASST, is also the case there. Let me have a quick look. So Strive, they're up 8.3%, guys. Remember, they added 1,100 Bitcoin. They got no debt, and they're all amplification, right? So amplification just means that they're issuing more of their SATA preferreds and raising money from the debt markets, buying Bitcoin. That way, obviously, they can issue ATM on the common stock as well. But essentially, they're on the up there, 8.3%. And look at that, $19.73. Looking over the last 6 months, look at that big power move there. Really, really exciting on this here as well. So some pretty powerful stuff happening. And arguably, we're on the first leg, and we're very close to confirming the bear market's probably in there. We just got to hit these key milestones on Bitcoin that we just mentioned earlier, and of course Ethereum there already looking pretty positive there. Just got to get over that 2650, and we've got a big gap up, maybe 28 to 3,000, and on we go, right? Remember last year was pretty aggressive, man. We suddenly got to we went down to $1,385 last year, and then suddenly it just rallied 130, a 3.5x in 133 days. We were going through 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, 3,500, 4,000. We just went up 5,000. You guys remember it was pretty crazy stuff, right? So welcome to that sort of zone. It's pretty crazy. But this time, I think it's bigger than ever, guys. Now we've got stablecoins, tokenization, and AI. And of course, we've got the big players coming over to tokenize everything with the enablers, the Waterworks company for DTCC. Just looks incredible now, guys. Just looks incredible. That's all I can say. So some pretty awesome stuff there. And just to zoom in a little bit more deeper on the tokenization, Ondo Finance, guys, right? Dominating 2/3 of particularly of the stocks and commodities, along with X stocks, etc. These guys are really doing amazing here. They've got a nice little update here. They said tokenized stocks are breaking records. The path to 1 billion in tokenized value keeps getting shorter with every new asset class. Stablecoins 3 years, tokenized treasuries 18 months, tokenized stocks 7 months. The pace of adoption shows what becomes possible when the world's most in-demand stock trades globally and around the world. Here's a nice little reference here. Look at that, just climbing all the way up there. Very, very cool. So we've got ETFs there in the green, Circle in the blue, Stretch product there, digital credit, SpaceX in there as well. We've got Tesla up here as well, and then Google, MSTR in the yellow, and then the video at the top here. It's all the way up there, right? Tokenization coming to the blockchain. Very, very exciting. So that was a little teaser there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. There's lots more we could talk about this, guys. Heaps of stuff is out there, but I just want to give you guys some of the key stuff that's ticking away there. Very exciting. So, we could have another couple of green weeks. We shall see. But we've obviously had a critical time taking these key measures here today that we talked about. All right, we're going to get into. Let's see here. We're going to go back. I'm going to have to keep. Christos says BTC is pumping right now. Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, it looks looking good for a multi-green week, right? By the time I finish covering it, it may very well have gone even higher, right? So I'm just going to do a quick check as well before we go to PulseChain, because we are looking to break that during the live stream. All right, here we go, guys. Christos says 80,800. Yeah, look, I'm streaming and I can't even keep up with the charts, guys. I can't even keep up with the charts. So let's get back to it. Let's go to Bitcoin. We are getting the PulseChain, guys. We're getting the PulseChain, but we've got a record here. So look, we're past the 80K mark, guys. Woohoo! There's the weekly candles. We have still got a bit of work to do, but we're heading in the right direction for another big green week. Imagine us powering up above this, beating out that lower high there at 82 200 to 82 800, and so let's just say 83 is the final mark on that, but certainly getting to 82 200, very, very powerful. We want to blow past this though, right? I mean, it's the idea. We don't want to be sitting at resistance there because that could still reject us down. So obviously we're looking very bullish here at the moment, and so onwards and upwards there. So we've got good fuel for the fire with the DATs. We've got good stuff coming up this week. Obviously, we want everything ending up being tailwind. So we want below 3.3% inflation, etc., etc. So we're going to cover that. Obviously, we might come back to the Bitcoin chart a bit later, but we're going to get into PulseChain. So let's do that first. All right, fun times, eh? Fun times. All right, let's pull up PulseChain stats, and we will try and come back in on those crypto majors at the end of the live stream, see how they go. All right, let's go to Dick Screener here. We're going to pull up the PulseChain chart as well. Let's look. We're going to get to Monster Thread 2. Monster Thread number 68 is out, guys. So big shout out to MBS Crypto. That is out as well. So we'll be covering that. How are we doing for time, actually? An hour and 12 minutes here. Probably be, I don't know, we might end up doing an hour and a half to 2 hour live stream here, guys. But big shout out to MBS Crypto. If you haven't followed him on X, give him a follow. He's the editor-in-chief of the Monster Thread and also the promotional lead for the Crypto Night Show. So if you're a team out there, you want to get promotional brand awareness, we're one of the few options you have, the best option you have actually relatively out there. So you get out there as well. Right, how we done? I think that's looking pretty good. I've just got to bring up Pulse. Sorry, guys. I should have had this ready, but you know, since we've been having some glitches on the old stream, it's probably good not to have so much open either. We're almost there. We're almost there. Now, also Liberty Swap, right? Well, Liberty Swap is launching a lot of products, so we're going to catch up on them too today. But let's get to the old hourly chart here for Pulse. I think that's a good place to be. All right, so we're there. We're there, guys. We're about to hit it. All right, so don't forget, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe on the way in. We're streaming on 3 YouTube channels, the Crypto Night Show, PulseChain, PulseChain X, and Superman Crypto, 3 YouTube channels. Smash the subscribe on the way in there. Hit the bell for future videos. If you're on X, we're streaming on there too live. And so don't forget to smash the follow on X and also hit the repost button. Now, as you guys know, I've had to rebuild my channel on X because my other one's taken down unfairly. And so just at 1,800 followers again, so it's really cool. And so, yeah, we're on the way back up there, guys. So on the way back. We got Hex Freedom says announced the Hex, yes. A Dewey Scum in there as well says, hey, PulseChain send it. And Hex Freedom signed up for the 45 minutes. Hey, nice one there, Hex Freedom. Big shout out there. All right, very cool. We'll see you there. See you there. All right, so let's get into PulseChain. Let's check this out. All right, so PulseChain here. We've got Pulse. What day is this, guys? What day is this? This is day number 1,200. 1,200 days, guys. Let's give that a round of applause. Yeah. So 1,200 days since PulseChain launched on the 30th of May 2023. It was a full system stake fork of Ethereum on the 10th of May 2023, so a couple of days earlier. And it had 2 big sacrifices: PulseChain sacrifice, PulseX, the DEX, number 1 DEX there, sacrifice as well. And I think it was well in excess of 1.1 billion or so. And pretty exciting times, right? Pretty exciting there. Probably net cash, maybe 650 mil. Without the the cause, the Hex stuff, but wow, what a time it's been! And we've had quite a ride since that time. We had the SEC come after us and get defeated by Richard Hart and his dream team of lawyers, and then of course we had no Oracle for a lot of the copy contracts. We had quite a few issues around that. We've had obviously the big sacrifice set sellers sell down during that period and rotate into some of these other big moves like last year with Ethereum. So it's been quite a ride, but here we are. And then particularly since the SEC defeated, we had 11 months of red candles, and then suddenly the last 2 months we've had green candles off the bottom, arguably. And so this is where we are at this moment. So 1,200 days later, we've got the price of Pulse just down slightly today, 0.16%. This is probably reversed now that Bitcoin's going up, but we're at 1439, holding up pretty nicely actually. We've got PulseX at the moment down 0.8% at 4013. Like I say, within the next hour, this could all go green, right? Hex at the moment is at 4,200. Let me just refresh this actually, just to make sure it might have gone green, right? Getting pretty close. Yeah, it's almost flat on Pulse right now. We got Hex at the moment up 1/3%, just below 4,200th of a penny. ProofX up 7%. That's been really good yesterday, today at 409. We've got 409, about to lose a zero, is it? Yeah, not too far. We got Ink Token there up 0.4%, 70 cents. And that's switched positions with EHEX. Oh no, EHEX has been added. I'm glad to see that. Hello, friend. Hello, friend. EHEX is here, guys. We got EHEX back. So that's good to see. So we got just about under 1,600 a penny on EHEX, the original OG, right? One of the top 5 coins that did a 10,000x in the last bull market. The world's changed since then, of course. Now we've got millions of coins. We've got a fair amount of more innovation, I would say, since that time. Etc. So, but here we are, good old OG Hex. It is down 5.6% today, but certainly keep a lookout for that. All right, so that is the market's results. Let's get into. Since we're on day 1200. Let's have a look at the last week. You can see we're pretty green. We're up 10% for Pulse, 27% for PulseX, 21% for Hex, 26% for ProveX, 22% for Ink, and down 11% on EHEX. Last 30 days. We are at up 97% for Pulse, so almost a 2x. We're up 121% for PulseX, 173% for PHEX or Hex. We got ProveX at 124%, Ink up 111%, and EHEX up 197% as well, being the best performer actually. We're going to jump past the 30 days. Let's go all-time low. Let's say taking these numbers, right? So apparently we're up 165% on Pulse, 241% on PulseX. 536% on Hex. So Hex obviously had a tremendous run on PulseChain. 200% on ProveX, 200% on Ink, and 290% on EHEX there. So pretty awesome from the all-time lows. Pretty exciting stuff. So obviously of all time, we are still down 92% on Pulse, which means good times ahead, potentially, right? Lots of parabolics. PulseX at the moment down 73%. So all of the same, all have got potential huge upsides as well. 78% for Hex down, 14% for ProveX, the new kid on the block, and of course 97% on Ink down, and but actually up on EHEX, apparently 626. I'm not sure where they get the number, but that's where we are at the moment. So interesting charts there. All right, let's go to the gas prices. Let's jump up to, these are our 3 global metrics. We look at the gas prices and the validators. We're elevated on the gas here, just below 1 million beats. We're at 138 pulse for a PulseX swap, 0.2 of a penny. Our second global metric is validators, so people that are confirming the blocks and the transactions, and they get paid for it, right? Around 9% a year. 447,202, so we're up maybe another 10, 20 overnight. So we're heading back up towards that 50K mark. Let's jump over to the final metric, our bridge, which is really exciting. It's been really good lately. Let's see there, 69.2 million. We bottomed out 47, so we're still up about let's say just under 22 million, and that's from about 35 days ago or so. So that's pretty cool. We had a 3% decrease today, 8% up on the last 7 days, and 41.27% increase in TVL over the last 30 days. Today, unfortunately, we've had a couple good green days. Today is not one of those. It's down 73%, 73K. But look, things with the way charts are pumping, this will probably be very green tomorrow, no doubt. We'll see. And of course, daily inflow 403K, down 477. So we're down 73 net there. So that's some of the global metrics. Dewey says, looking serious. We'd love to see it, says Dewey. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so that is the crypto. That's kind of where PulseChain's at. 1,200 days into it, man. Isn't that awesome? Let's look at Pulse. So Pulse here having a good time here on the charts on the last hour. So following the rest of the market up as it tackles those key numbers on Bitcoin and Ethereum. But look at this, 1454. This is the hourly chart. So I just wanted to show that. You can kind of see we're bound to have been, sold off there from 1542. Went down all the way down to 4 zeros 1322, and now we're at 4 zeros 1454. So we're back up most of the way, at least 2/3 maybe, almost. So kind of cool on there. Let's look at the 4 hour there for PulseChain. We're bouncing off the 21 4 hourly. That's very important. This is the trader's view. Looking good there, and like I say, we bounced off 1324. The RSI has cooled off, guys. Look at that. It's bounced off around 51. We're out now at 60. and we've got the stochastics moving up on 4 hour. So 4 hour looks good, supportive of this Bitcoin move to the upside, etc. So let's go to the daily charts here. You can see the RSI is still elevated and slightly overbought on Pulse on the daily, but with that 4 hour behind us, looking really good, and the stochastics all the way down here at 44, not bad. So we've got lots of room to move there. And this is the daily, right? So let's get rid of the RSIs and let's look at our key mark here. So our key mark, of course, is this target here of 1700. That's our next target, right? So that's what we're looking for there. We'll come back to that. But let's go to the moving averages. We're above the 200 moving average, which is at 1028. We're at the 50 daily moving average is at 509668, so still got 5 zeros there. And then we've got the 21 moving average for the daily is at 401164. So we're getting good support with the moving averages there. We've got a bullish cross there at the 21, but look, we're getting a golden cross coming up here very quickly, and there's not a lot of gap in there. So more tailwinds there. Let's go to the weekly, and the weekly's got tons of room to move. Let's go to the RSI. The RSI is still elevated here at 63, but still got lots of room to move there. Stochastic is hot, but we got room to move on the 4 hour, the weekly, and so the daily looks good. And of course, let's get to our target. Target is still here, right? The 1700 here, and of course that's key. If we got the bottom in, which is looking very, very, very good for that at 5400, so 5054. We've got this first wave, from my point of view, was at 1200. We've passed that. Second wave has begun, and we want to get to 1700 there, right? Because I want to get to there, maybe come back and retest back at 1200, and then take off, escape velocity, and that's our second goal. Second goal is to break the mega downtrend that we've had, at least up to a month and a half ago or so. We had this mega downtrend since PulseChain launched, and we're trying to defeat that and start our mega trend upward there, along with the rest of the bull market. So far, so good, right? We've got relatively still thin liquidity, dampening down. Maybe the bigger players selling. I think can still do it, but certainly dampening it down. And we're still in, even though we've had big gains, still got relative gains there because maybe there's more people wanting to get bigger X's, right? So they've got all those sort of variables playing in there. We'll see how the market plays out there. No one really knows how that will ultimately play out. But there's some of the playful ideas there. Also, so this is just base case, doesn't include the magic case, right? Magic case, Richard Hart and the ETH, and anything else he's got, right? And of course, just shaving a little bit off that, putting it into farms, putting it into buying in the market, whatever that you could do with that stuff. If you believe that he was going to do that stuff, then that's moon math to the upside, right? Moon math to the upside, and arguably downstream from ETH and everything else, which is repricing at the moment. And of course, downstream of that. Now, if that does get applied, then obviously Tom Lee, Michael Saylor, all these people there, Matt Cole, these guys are working for you ultimately, right? If that money it gets back into PulseChain and off low liquidity, big magic moon math, right? So that's the magic case. We're just going with base case at the moment, but base plus magic equals mind-blowing X's, right? We're talking about hundreds, thousands of X's potentially. It could be pretty insane. At least certainly hundreds of X's. It could be pretty crazy. So just take note of that. We've got movement, says Mount Cox. We've got movement. We have indeed. All right, so that's kind of where we are on the chart here, looking very good. Let's get the Fibonacci on the line here as well. We do the Fibonacci extension, and we're going to go from there to there and back again. And we're getting even higher moves up here potentially. So we break that 17, we could even get to 21.56 here, 4 zeros. And you guys know 0.2 of a penny was a key mark there. So we're looking very good. We keep this momentum. Momentum's our friend, and this all helps us break out from that mega downtrend and get escape velocity eventually. Now this blue line is a guide. So this is our second goal here, to break this mega downtrend, and so far everything's going pretty well. So I'll leave it there. And of course, you guys know if we go to the monthly, which I'm not doing here, but let's go to the monthly and pull up the RSI. We have got a ton of room to move, guys. We're at 41. We can have so many parabolics moving forward once we get escape velocity and past the 1700 mark. It's all glory. And look at the stochastic all the way down here, still below the 20, which is crazy. So keep a lookout. Base case plus magic. It's going to be pretty fun. It could be pretty fun. Now, all right, so that's kind of where we are there at the moment. And of course, there's always pullbacks on the way. So let's not get too carried away. Let's always, throw a bit of bucket of water on ourselves. But so far, everything's looking pretty good, right? Let's jump away from PulseChain. Let's look at the overall markets. We'll come back to Bitcoin and at the moment, since it's attacking these key lines. But here we are, 8.3 million on the 24 hour. We've got 315,000 transactions. So, good money. Yesterday we're doing 6 million. Now we're doing 8.3, so we're back up again. And of course, more fees for DEXs, DEX aggregators, more fees for the LP providers, all positive flywheel stuff, right? Let's go to the PulseX V2 DEX. 6.3 million is the volume there. 9mm our V3 DEX, 900,000. Great stuff with 9mm lately. SwitchX our V4 DEX, almost 500K. Brandon will be happy. Uniswap has flipped Liberty Swap. What? Come on, Liberty Swap, get those products rolling out, bros. Get those products rolling out. They're doing the best they can, I know. But just be patient with that. But we're playing, have a bit of fun. Uniswap there is doing 290K. Flipped Liberty Swap today. Boy, I didn't expect to see that today. We got Liberty Swap there at 250K. 9-inch, of course, a little bit deprecated, right? Is 52K. And for Investor, the new kid on the block, really struggling to get volumes, but keep a look out for them. They got mechanisms potentially. We'll keep a look out and be optimistic. Let's jump to on 9-inch, see what most of the volume is on there. Well, it's SolidX, right? SolidX, most of the volume there. Not a lot of volume, but most of the volume there, along with 9-inch itself. Liberty Swap, our V3 DEX as well. These are all V3 DEX, is all for Investor 9-inch. Liberty Swap V3 AMM pools, and then of course we got the most volume coming through from Wrapped ETH, Peacock, PulseX, USDC from Ethereum, PDI, and ProveX, etc. Those are most of the volumes there. Still doing $250,000, so it's still decent. Uniswap, the big mover though, and let's have a look at these volumes. Most of it PulseX, big numbers on Uniswap for some reason, 152, and then of course Wrapped ETH, USDC, big contributor, well, modest, small contributors, but PulseX apparently is the big move there. So it doesn't quite add up to that 290, but look, that's what it says. So there we go. SwitchX to the V4. Let's look at the volumes. We've got PulseChain, Switch, and of course Wrapped ETH and USDC, stablecoins and Wrapped ETH, bigger moves there. 9mm, our V3, most of the volumes there at the moment. Richard Cause, Wrapped Bitcoin as well, and a little bit of other stuff there, but mostly Richard Cause, and particularly Hex. It's easy to say Hex with an S. All right, enough of that. All right, so now obviously on PulseX, the biggest volume is Richard Cause, particularly Hex, and all the way down. Look, that's pretty much it. And you get a bit of a Troper, a bit of Teddy Bear, a bit of Peacock in the mix as well. All right, so all DEXs, we're at 8.3 million today. Let's have a look at the best performers. Now, obviously, nothing in financial advice. We always go through the top 100, more or less. And of course, every so often there'll be some bad projects. So you must always do your own due diligence and check the contracts and all that good stuff. Do your own research, not financial advice. Now, we've got Wartime at the moment, been around for over 3 months, up 50% today. We've got 7.5K liquidity on 33. And so, someone's pumped that, haven't they? Here we go, a bit more. Oh, this is let's go to the daily there. Yeah, nice little pump in volume there, relatively speaking for that. And most plays on PulseChain are retail plays at the moment. But as PulseChain re-rates, they all get bigger. They all get bigger, don't they? SCADA at the moment, one of our most innovative teams, SCADA and Nuclear Supply. They're small but innovative, pretty diehard community as well. Up 22% there today, number 2. And you can see the charts there kind of pushing out. In fact, they're at a key level now. May break out from here. Certainly got room to do it on the RSI. Kind of cool. What else we got going there? We've got PMint, one of the PDI projects. And funny about that, Dewey Scum, you anticipated that, of course. PMint was deep discount, popping off the bottom strong there, says Dewey Scum. Well, it is number 3 right now. There are a few influencers supporting PMint. It's one of the PDI projects. You put PDI in and you get PMint out. It's a bit like the dance song. But 14% at the moment. Let's have a look at this at the moment. So, yeah, this chart's looking pretty good. Looking at that. We've got nice little movements there at 2.7 cents is now 8.6 cents. So it's pretty cool. And looking at we don't have that. It's not a pulse run, but let's look at the weekly chart. That's the weekly chart on this particular pair at least. And how long has it been around actually? 3 months, 26 days, yeah. So good action here on the chart. So not bad there. All right, number 4 is Sparta. This is from OG Hexkin Wendy's for Tendies. Apparently it has 300 million hex in the LPX pools. So technically a hex derivative still. They don't have the website anymore, so I don't know, they've made quite a few changes there, but it's up 11.5% today. Pretty small volume, $900 though, but it's managed to make the list. UFO's got a couple pairs in here as well. This is up about 10%, let's say. Obviously relaunched just over a month ago. to deal with, some sort of bot getting around its taxes. So that is on the move there, and of course benefits PDC the Greys. So not bad, and of course lifting up on a back hex with hex pairs, right? Both P hex and he hex pairs in there, up about 8 to 10%. Now, Gains Hex Dog, I saw Crypto Coffee talking about this yesterday. This is up 9% as well. This is pretty new, isn't it? Oh no, it's old actually, 1 year, 6 months, but someone went and pumped it. It was pretty much tricking along at 6 zeros, 8,800, and now is at 00016 and peaked out with a God mode candle at 000 2500. So volume coming in there in the last few days. Is it? Yeah, 4 days, just coming out of nowhere there. So it is what it is. Not financial advice. Not financial advice there. Joey Scum says the NFTs they have with real value is fire. So big proponent there of B-Mint. They have the whole ecosystem built on PDI. It's wild. Check it out. It takes some time, good time. Well, it's still recovering. This is Jerry for PDI Mint. All right, so let's jump down to number 8. We've got Provex all the way down to number 12, up about 7% at the moment. So Provex there, obviously the new kid on the block with ZK technology, peer-to-peer, disintermediation of exchanges, all that good stuff. Kind of neat. Joey says Alpha Baller has been promoting the gains also. Yeah, I think I've seen that with the long. I do a survey every week, so I pick them all up. All right, so we've got Provex there is up pretty nicely there at 409,000. They're hitting some key marks here, looking pretty good. So this is the daily on Provex, one of the Richard cores. Had the recent big sacrifice. It's $87. Sorry, not $87. 87 on the RSI, and we've got the price there moving up pretty strong. So not bad. It is pretty hot on the RSI. There you can see 88. That's really hot, guys. 4 hour, let's have a look at that. They're sort of elevated as well, but tailwinds at the moment with the market. The weekly, of course, got room to move on the 65, but certainly needs probably a bit of cooling off. But looks like it's going to try and take out a zero, is it? Looks like it might try and do that. Here's the weekly. And of course, the zero there, it's just up at this yellow line pretty much. Let's bring it down. Yeah, there we go. So a little bit of room to move, but it's very high on the daily. But the weekly with room to move there just needs to cool off 10, 11%. So that was Provex. There are a few key players that have got virtually, not I wouldn't say free Provex, but close to it. I think they're after big X's though, so watch out for those guys. He's got what's he got? Hype around it in the public challenge showing his balance. I see. Okay, cool. That's from Alpha Baller. All right. All right, so let's move away here. If it's Provex on the move in the top 10, top 12, we've got Stake ETH coming in the mix there as well, up 6.7%. One of the copied forks there that's on the move there. ALGO Hex derivative. This has been one of the big successes, hasn't it? Up 4.6% today. I'm not going to go into the chart, but it's been up like 7-8x. It's been pretty awesome. Bonnie, a meme coin over a year ago, up 4.5%, number 15. Then we've got the Hex coming in. Ignore the Mule one, right? Mules are just a fake out scammy thing. So just ignore that one. But we've got all the rest of them with Richard Cause, about 3.7% on the Hex on the move again. 4300th of a penny. We've got to have a little Hex it though, don't we? We've got to have a little Hex. Let's go to the big pair. Number 19 is the big Hex pair there. And you can see we're on the move up here, looking very good. The RSI is elevated but not overbought, so room to move. And we go to the 4 hourly there. We're above all the moving averages, obviously. 4 hour there, man, we're down at 59. So really, this can really move here on the 4 hour there, looking pretty good. And on the weekly, we are, this is probably the hottest one, right? I think we're the only ones that's over the elevated and overbought slightly. But this has got room to move, right? So that 4 hourly daily looking good for Hex to move high here. And let's go back to the daily. We're going to go full screen, get rid of the RSI, and let's have a little look on the Fibonacci extension. We're coming all the way down to the bottom there, 306500. I think was the bottom on that one. We're going to take it to the top there, bring it back down. And this is just one way of trying to have a forward look of the prices. And of course, we've still got that next target at 1.618 Fibonacci at the 0.7 of a penny. So I think that still holds pretty well. And with room to move on the RSI there with the 4 hour and the weekly, they're supportive. So yeah, and with the macros doing really well right now. So looking pretty good still. Now I'm still a bit more modest around that. I'm still at the 47.5 a penny, which is not that far ahead here. So around this area, so not far, but certainly that 0.7 of a penny makes a lot of sense too if the rally continues as it's looking. So looking not bad, and then we add in HEX with that as well. We're already over a penny, half a penny, right? So kind of cool. That is Hex. We're not going to get too much further into that, but that's it. What else have we got going? We're going to go down a bit further here. We got Delt at number 27, up 3.5% there. One of our top meme coin communities. We got what else we got going down? We got Top Hat number 39, tied into the Peacock, up 2.9% from Crypto Coffee, I should say. Coming down a bit further, we've got number 44, up 2.5% as Patius. That is our top stick aggregator, facing more competition though from a number of other DEX aggregators, but that's up 2.5% there right now. Peacock sitting at 1.55 cents here. It's almost a stable coin, kind of a little bit. It's a bit less volatility, let's say. It does get rotated a little bit on the ratio, has been rotated on the ratio to Pulse, but we're expecting a lot of big protocols to roll out. That is our big Kraken developer. We're at 4 different projects now. We're expecting to go to about 10, and they're all supposed to be big projects with big earning potential and big buy burn potential there for the Peacock. So we'll get into that briefly, I think. We're not going to go to the 90 minutes. It never shows up properly. Well, let's go down to, where's that other peer? Peacock, where are you? Oh, this one here. So we'll go down this one and have a look at the charts. You guys know we've been following this pretty clearly. This is our big protocol rolling out, so it's a lot of fun to see. We're at 15.59. We've been at 16.33 on the US price. Let's go to the weekly though. I'm not going to talk about the rollouts. We're going to continue to map that right as the biggest project on PulseChain ecosystem. There are a couple other big ones like Switch from Brandon will be rolling out a lot of stuff, I presume, and maybe several other top tiers, tiers, Bitmine, etc. You guys know. All right, so that is the price chart at the moment. So it looks like bounced off 89 hundredths of a penny or 9/10 of a cent. And we're down at 1.5 cents, trying to push high here, waiting for a lot of these protocols to roll out, right? And has had ratio rotating back out probably into X and other things is probably my guess there. But we're at 1,054. Let's go to the weekly on this so you can see the rollout here. So we're up at around 1,700 on the ratio. So Pulse to Peacock down at 1054. So you can sort of see rotation out of there. But once again, all these projects start launching, the buy and burn kicks in, this could all go up to the right? And therefore the US dollar price will also accelerate away. So that's kind of the play. All the US dollar uplifting with Pulse, but obviously we're expecting that to play out. So we'll check it out in a minute, but that's kind of the key part there. Let's go to some other stuff. Actually, well, let's go to the Peacock first. Let's go to the news on Peacock first before we come back here as well. Let me just we'll just get Peacock and Libby by the way, since they're the juggernaut. we're treated a bit rough, but we'll get there. Let's see here. Let's go back. Have a look down here. Where were we up to 8 hours ago? They've been doing a lot of stuff with their wallets. We're going to 11 hours. I think we're going to go there. I think let's start with this one. So yesterday they sent their list of products and features they plan to release through the end of August to the team. He says got approval there. So, the next release is coming early Monday morning. Well, we've already had that, right? So we'll get to that now. So coming up here a little bit here. So this is one of the announcements. We're excited to announce, this was 11 hours ago. We're excited to announce our team has successfully launched and thoroughly tested the two-way bridge between Sonic and PulseChain assets. Sonic Labs is a high-speed EVM blockchain with 400,000 transactions per second, hell yeah, and near instant finality, built on for high-performance DeFi and Web3 applications. Now, Sonic and PulseChain can move assets seamlessly in both directions. Isn't that awesome? So cool stuff there. What else there? Sonic to PulseChain, just giving some examples of that, and the Liberty swap there. So if you want to do that on their bridge, kind of cool. Very neat there. All right, so that's cool from them. What else we got there? Let's jump past some of this. I'm going to jump past to that. 8 hours ago, they said this August to early September, Cash App, Coinbase, Binance, Robinhood, Crypto.com, PulseChain assets. So they're going to have a fixed fee of 0.3%. So remember, this is all going to be buying and burning and pushing out the Peacock, arguably, right? And I think, did this go? Almost there. So I don't know, on the alley there. Let's get rid of the overlays. It just got pumped just as we're talking about it, guys. Just got pumped to 16.19. How about that? Interesting. Just on a little volume though. Kind of weird, but anyway, that's moving high there. Probably Pulse, right? Probably Pulse. So that is that's going good. Estimated transaction time 20 seconds. Getting almost instant time, so pretty fast anyway. 20 seconds, obviously 10 seconds with block time, but full integrated with the ZKX wallet and Liberty Swap Fi, so pretty cool. So you're going to get it all, guys. Lots of fiat to PulseChain on-ramps coming. Really, really cool. PulseChain is getting it all, right? Let's jump through this. Crypto is supposed to make money moving across borders easier. Obviously got the process there. Let's jump through that as well. Release the Kraken or release the peg. So they've been teasing about pegging everything. We're teasing about 300,000 Bitcoin, which is probably just a tease, and teasing about what else? Lots of things. So we'll see where they go. We'll see where they go. Pegology there. So we're talking about pegging everything. Nothing on PulseChain is coincidental. The price action of all assets across different markets, software, dApps will release all of what it will make sense one day. They're always alluding to that they know more stuff than they come on. They're certainly doing very similar roadmap to Richard Hart's roadmaps of the past. They're bullish there. I'm bullish on PulseChain coins. I cannot sleep. Another big week is coming. PulseChain is rising. Yeah, well, that's definitely looking the case there. Let's see there. Come back up here. I think we're almost up to date, are we? Yeah, so that's pretty much it on that one. Very cool. 8 hours ago, they said with Hyperliquid and Hyper EVM getting more popular these days, our team are setting up a two-way bridge between Hyper EVM and PulseChain. The bridge is instant with low fees and has been thoroughly tested. So you guys can see these guys are taking away a lot of hurdles. Along with that, we've got a lot of other good bridge solutions as well, but they're taking away a lot of the hurdles away and really pushing the frontier of all the stuff. So really, really cool. They've got a lot of big products to be launched, and so we're excited about that. At the moment, we're getting a lot of bridge updates, expanding bridges and tokens, but all the big DeFis should roll out pretty soon on this. Right, so that's kind of it for Peacock and Liberty Swap. The 10x. Actually, before we do that, let me go and have a look at how much money's in the buy and burn for when they do decide to activate it. Oh, it's up to $17,000, guys. So it's getting bigger and bigger there. Just more than 1 billion Peacock at the moment being able to burn in there. So we'll keep a track of all that. It's going to be fun, especially when they go from 4 to 10 big apps and they're earning fees. It could be really fun, right? Right, so let's jump away from that and let's go down a bit further. We got Switch here sitting at about 4.2 cents. 42 hundredths of a penny at the moment on SwitchX. Still obviously doing really great on the volumes on the DEX. But of course, it's still early in its inflation phase or distribution phase there. Vouch at number 70 at 1.4% there. Pulse Bitcoin community at 1.2% there as well. Just little gains here. So we've got 81 coins in the green. What do we say? PulseChain was, when we started looking at PulseChain, it was just slightly flat. So basically, pretty much looks like we've got about 80% of coins doing better than PulseChain right now. But let's bring up PulseChain stats again just one more time to see what Pulse is at 415. So up 3% now. So PulseChain's on a bit of a move, which is probably why that Liberty Swap went up. So anything doing better than 3%, is that what we said? Yeah, so about 55 coins, let's say. 55 peers, I should say, are doing better than Pulse today. Always a fun metric. Then looking down the ones that down the bottom here, well, if investors come down a bit there, 7.3% at $3.06. Liquid loans has come down 4% there. So these were, kind of both rallying. Liquid loans down a little bit there, 4%. Not a lot, but down a bit. Zendog, and Zero Trust down about 1-2%. They're part of the Peacock trifecta there. What else we got going there? Teddy bear, a few teddy bears there. So not bad day in the office. And our volume's gone up, guys, from 8.3 to 9.1. So we're on the rise there. So that is the old PulseChain stuff. Now we're going to get into the monster thread next. We've got about 15 minutes to go. So we're going to kick into that, the hottest weekly news. Before we do that, let's have a quick check-in on Bitcoin. Well, why not, eh? Why not? Since it's on the attack vector right now, on the attack vector. Let's see. It's definitely moved up, guys. It's definitely moved up. Is it going to get rejected? Is it going to make it all the way? Well, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about it with all the stuff I talked about. That we might get a couple of green week candles, and that would smash it, right? That would smash it if that's the case. And we're not far away. Not far away. Let's go to the hourly candles though, and check that out. I'm going to have to reset the autopilot. But look at this. Let's get into it. Isn't that cool? Bam, bam. That is the Bitcoin chart right now. It has just powered up in the last hour. It got to $81,265. Isn't that cool? That is cool. That's awesome. So that's the hourly chart there. The orange line is the 82,300, let's say, approximately. So it's not far away from that at all. Very exciting, right? So let's go to let's just zoom out a little bit here for our time frames, and then of course the daily. We get into that. Pretty cool. Yeah, not far away. And then of course the weekly, which is the key one right now. Look at that, and we're right touching that 50 weekly moving average at 81,100, and we just crossed it just before, and 81,265, guys. That's in the last week at least. So definitely challenging that. Very cool. Let's go to the daily again, one quickly. Actually, we'll just leave it there, but you can see we're really trying to battle to go to that next level now. Let's see where we get on. All right, so that is Bitcoin. Now let's get to the monster thread, guys, as our last topic of the day. We'll do another final check of Bitcoin, hopefully before we finish up, though, given how aggressively to the upside it's moving, trying to tackle that 4-year cycle. It could be cool. So let's go to the monster thread. The hottest PulseChain news, and it's edition number 68. There's an official publication of the Crypto Night Show, and of course the editor-in-chief is MBS Crypto. We have a lot of great DeFi in there as well, so we're going to get to that. So yeah, it's exciting. Let me just post the link to this if you guys are watching here. So monster thread number 68. And boom, there it is. And I'll also put it actually under the show as well. So you guys, if you're watching on X, so that's on YouTube. And if you want to check that out, that is there right now. Pretty cool. We got a couple more comments from Dewey Scum there. ALGO LP is strong. Pump that Hex. Yeah, Hex is looking good, isn't it? Keep on the lookout for the Pulse guys. Send the bird, yeah, Peacock there, looking like it's winding up, isn't it? Winding up there. So that there is the monster thread number 68 link. If you're on YouTube, you can check that out. It's on all channels. So kind of. Now, if you're on X, of course, let me just quickly go to the live stream there and post the monster thread underneath there. Monster thread number 68. And bam. And don't forget to give MBS a follow as well. All right. He works hard every week on that. We've got Emmett in there as well. Superman is a certified emitter. Certified emitter said, nice one there. I appreciate that. Big shout out to Karos, one of our best innovators in the PulseChain space. All right. Are we ready for the monster thread number 68? Here we go. Without further ado. All right, kicking into gear. So this is the hottest weekly news, 68 weeks, guys. Can you think about that? Consistency is key. Community is strong. The last 3 weeks, the community has really been stepping up. Very, very exciting there and really cool. So let's get into it. Richard celebrates. What does he celebrate? We'll find out. 24-hour tablet-a-thon. That was exciting. We've got our own 24-hour thons. I love thons. Telethons. We used to have telethons back in the 80s before the Liberals destroyed it all. You know, they're good at destroying. That's all Liberals and progressives do. Destroy. But we had a great time doing telethons. Hitting millions on Instagram. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. People have been expanding coverage for PulseChain on Instagram and TikTok, by the way. So it's been increasing. So we've got a nice little sign. You know, most of our coverage of PulseChain typically has been on YouTube and on X, right? So with a few others, but mainly those two. Gala Games lists PulseChain. Now that's a big deal, guys. So Gala Games, we'll talk about that in a minute, and more monster moves. That Gala Games, just more recognition that PulseChain's getting wider recognition, and no doubt we'll probably start getting some exchanges and things like that. Bring the chain on and everything else like that. So Richard celebrates. What does he celebrate? Well, he celebrated 1,195 days of flawless PulseChain operation. But we know today is day 1,200, so it's 1,200 days now. Rah! Hooray! Yeah. And of course, Hex is up at least 7x approximately in the last couple of months, which is fantastic. He fully supports, and this is one of his favorite lines, he fully supports PulseChain's testnet, which is Ethereum. Kind of cool. And remember, Ethereum's PulseChain's downstream. We get all the free upgrades if we so choose. A lot of those upgrades, at least part of them, have been done through client updates. And of course, trying to organize a hard fork, that'd be an interesting job there. We'll see how that goes. Maybe David Feder can help out with that if Richard needs so to do. Maybe we might get a hard fork with the quantum upgrade that Ethereum is planning, part of crops, right? So lots of stuff. So we'll see. All right. So, but anyway, Ethereum on the move, kind of cool. And that was from Richard Hart. He's got several posts, and you can click on the links. So all the links to the stories are all there, right back to the source. So he's had 92,000 views on that. I fully support PulseChain testnet there from Richard Hart. So it's pretty cool. He's obviously got a few others there as well, talking about how Hex is up. He's had 121,000 views on that. So still drawing in the big views is old Richard. And then, of course, on the the PulseChain there, the 1,200 days. He's at 80,000 views on that. So pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, so a lot of heavyweights follow Richard as well, even if they're quiet about it. They follow Richard, and of course, Richard's had many interviews with many key influencers and founders as well. And some of those founders, of course, remember Richard, you scammer, and then who's in jail? Well, some of those founders have gone to jail or been had up, right? 24-hour tablet-a-thon, a wildest day, of course, the Positivity Princess, and you can see a picture of her there, held an epic 24-hour PulseChain tablet-a-thon. Of course, she's been working in the Hive in California with Griffin, of course, which is a non-profit running a lot of the stuff to get the logistics out, doing labels and distribution and everything else like that. Getting a lot of volunteers coming to help. Well, they did massive marketing updates on the 24-hour-thon. What a great idea from Wildest Day there. They had community appearances as well, and Richard Hart reposted it also, which was awesome. They still need volunteers, so if you do want to volunteer, maybe you're in California visit, or maybe you want to set up, be a part of a node in another state or in another country, you can hit them up as well. But that's RS Griffin running the show there, so there we go, follow that. And of course, I think we can see a little snippet there. Look at that, pretty cool. So those tablets are going out. I think they've so far somewhere between 350 and 400,000 have gone out. They're targeting 1 million, right, at least, I think, in the households there. So all has a big impact. We've seen them turning up. There's a little bit of the video there. We'll watch a little bit of that. But they've been turning up. They've been turning up at. I'm just going to mute there. But they've been turning up at all sorts of places. Little fairs out in the country. You name it. Italy at a cafe. There's so many places these iPads have been turning up, which is actually helps, I think, with its promotion. So they're turning up, and of course, I think they've got a node just about in most states in the United States now. Certainly ramping up there. Canada, UK, Nigeria, I think's got one. There's all sorts of places ticking there. So big shout out to a Wildest J there. Bullish on Hex, Pep Lord. He's a rising X influencer in the top 10 these days, I think he is. Shared a video from Joe Perry, and of course, Joe Perry, their big crypto influencer there, 480,000 YouTube subscribers. And he says about Hex, as he covered Hex, he said, this thing is going to absolutely moon, in my opinion, at least a 50x from here. So you're getting Perry out there, very bullish about Hex. Very, very cool. It's going to be pretty cool on that. All right, so that is him, and we got a little post there. I guess you can go to all the sources there. He's got a little video as well. That's from Joe Perry. That's Joe Perry there, the big influencer, almost 500,000 followers, and of course, similar, I guess, in terms of size to Ivan on Tech, right? But does a lot of these, crypto altcoins. So pretty cool seeing him cover that, right? Listed on Gala. So not only did we get big streamer there, but we also got listed on Gala. So Gala is massive, guys. So go Gala. 654,000 followers on X. They're doing amazing there. So Web3 gaming giant Go Gala with 654,000 followers adds PulseChain to Gala Swap, guys. So this is just, we want to see all these sort of things like this happening as we move through this bull market. Just all, fire fuels the fire, as it were. So pretty awesome there. And you can see that the Pulse is there along with Mural, Fluid, etc. So pretty cool. Look at that. Awesome stuff. They've had 35,000 views on that. Pretty awesome stuff there. All right, Amazon Prime Marketing and Quinzito. The highest of stakes is now available on Amazon Prime. Watch out now, so you can go watch that, of course, if you haven't missed out the highest of stakes. So more free coverage there. He's had 16,000 views on that so far. But if you're on Amazon Prime, you can go watch the highest of stakes there. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. DeFi, what is that there? Mo Mindset. So Mo Mindset is an artist, but he's also a big PulseChain advocate, right? He goes out and spreads the word wherever he can. BBC Radio, talking to mayors, talking to influencers. This guy's everywhere. Mo Mindset there is hitting millions on Instagram views. He's had a big breakout there on his PulseChain inspired paintings. One of them recently showcased by one of the biggest UK food reviewers on YouTube. So, Mo Mindset, very clever in spreading the word there and spreading his art as well. So yeah, over 1 million Instagram views. This is really a big new audience for PulseChain, right? So think of it like that. And even if a fraction of it, knows about crypto, or comes and finds out a bit more, is a big deal there. So pretty cool. And you can see the food commentator there in the UK, one of the top ones there, with PulseChain there, with the PulseChain. You can see the logo and all that in there. Pretty cool. So big shout out to Mo Mindset, always out there doing great stuff there. DeFi on Pulse, True DeFi, of course. These guys do manage funds on PulseChain. They're the first sort of approach to that, and they've been doing extremely well with that. So a big shout out to Neil, Daniel, and Executioner. They also hold the weekly DeFi spaces on PulseChain, which is pretty exciting, and they have a lot of other founders from other projects, which is pretty cool. This week they had Crypto Bro, Hero from Vets, and Good GameFi there. So pretty cool. And of course, they discuss their solutions, collaborations there. So, if you want to get into all the hot DeFi's launching on the chain every week, there's a great spot for that. And they talk through all those things there. So big shout out to Neil, Daniel, and all the other founders there for that. 9 days in Serbia, we're getting out there in the conferences and presentations. Well, Gabriel from Open Info Service and from Zero Trust, obviously one of the Peacock projects, Trifectas, spent Liberty Swap Trifectas, spent 9 days on the ground at Libopolco and Floating Man. So at both these two events there, networking nonstop and taking the stage to showcase Liberty Swap, ZKX Wallet, Zero Trust, and the real world PulseChain utility. And this is what we like to see more of this, right? So we see other people doing it. We see, I think, PulseChain in Asia doing it. We see Liquid Loans going to conferences, Maddie Allen, lots of people going to conferences and stuff, spreading the word around PulseChain. The more the merrier, right? So get our word out in that area. 3 days at Libopolco, 6 days at the Floating Man. So, a bit more than just conferences. And they had a good time. So look at that presenting there. Isn't that great? Some good stuff happening there. All right, what else we got there? Tablets in Canada. Tablets are spreading, and of course, Count Sacula, as his name is, so that's pretty funny. Received tablets ready for distributing in Canada, or as we like to say, Canada, eh? Canada, eh? So there we go, and so that's pretty cool. The tablet is a box there. Look at that with the tablets here. Tablets have arrived in Canada. Whoop whoop. We love PulseChain, so he'll be spreading those around as well. Liberty Swap V3, of course, got launched. We've talked about the new bridges, but Liberty Swap enabled that with the V3. That's the sort of base layer to expand to these other bridges, other tokens. So we're connecting up to the rest of the world, multi-chain, omni-chain future. Now, V3 is, of course, faster, higher capacity cross-chain bridge to PulseChain. Monad two-way now, Robinhood chain, Ethereum Base and Arbitrum. And of course, we just saw Sonic too, right? So these guys are ramping up and no hurdles to jump over to PulseChain and let that capital flow. They also added in, of course, upgrades around private railgun swaps, new integration APIs with zero custom fees, 0 fee in wallet swaps, zero secured Liberty Swap pool, and shared environments as well. So quite a lot in that V3 upgrade. But we're expecting a lot of DeFi to be rolling out from this team in the next week, and particularly over the next few weeks, as a lot of it's ready to go. Just rolling out the timing there, and that there is the upgrade there. So you can kind of see that Liberty Swap V3, very cool from them. All right, Internet Money has decided to go into New Era as well. Another one of our top protocols doing our biggest wallet. Internet Money New Era, Brother KG and Don Montero, the founders there, presented a new Internet Money brand and logo. So let's have a look. Let's look at it. There it is. Bam. There's the two guys, KG on the left, Don Montero on the right, and they've got their big update here. So let's see if we can. Let's see if we can scroll through this. Hopefully, get the timing right on this. Let's see. So he's talking there about it, but they got the old Internet Money logo and they're moving to the new one, which you can see in the top left actually, which is kind of cool. Let's see if we can get a little bit further. I'm not sure what time. Oh, there we go. I think they're about there. So that's the old Internet Money logo. So they've destroyed that. Boom, gone. Hello to the future. And there's the future one there. So rebranding there. And this will just give them a bit more broader, bit of refresh, bit of broader attention there. And of course on App Store, Google Play, etc. So big shout out there. They've probably got a lot more updates on there about their forward strategy, so you can go watch that too. All right, let's kick it back as well. How we're doing for time. We're an hour and 15, almost 2 hours on the hour there. We've got a great community watching right now, so don't forget to smash the subscribe, hit the follow button, and repost the show out. That's how we rock and roll here. We're witnessing history right now with the Bitcoin crypto markets moving potentially into bull market confirmation, our final sort of seal of approval. And we've obviously got PulseChain on the move as well. Cabana Happy Hour, he does a great show there. He went on for Brandon, another one of our top developers with Switch. and of course influencers in his own right to discuss PulseChain, crypto, DEX aggregators, markets, and how to up your game with SwitchX. Now, SwitchX is amazing, guys. Really is fantastic DEX aggregator, and it's got 23 routes, I think, at least, of pools. So pretty cool. 4 chains as well. Yeah, happy hour returns there with Brendan. So go check that out. That was a great show. T-share report, Crispy Man, one of our 2 quants. Ben Sierra and Crispy Man, those are our 2 quants for Hex. He dropped his latest Hex T-share report, so you go check that out, as well as these Hex bonds, these HTTs as they call it, a way of either increasing your yield or liquidating some Hex yield to cash out a little bit there. So these have been going through all that. Now, you guys know the last 3 weeks we've seen the beginning of AI on PulseChain, and we've got some more news around that too this week. Pulse Swap AI agents, Pulse Coin List here, one of our big information sites, right? They said you can now point your AI agent straight at Pulse Swap, which is their little DEX swapping there. Pretty cool. So more building out there. We've seen stuff from David Feather. I think we're seeing stuff from Squirrel Swap. We're seeing just a growth in the AI stuff happening there. So nice. My PulseChain upgrade. Hex Toy Short officials. You guys remember these guys bought Richard Hart something, didn't they, for that? So that's pretty cool. I'm not sure if there's the actual right link here. Double check the links here. I'm not sure if that's the right one, but maybe. Pushed a huge my PulseChain upgrade, and of course that's pretty cool from them. I'm not going to go through all that, but cool stuff there. All right, so there we are. That's been launched there. You can go check out all the details there. Staked Hex. Steak dinner celebration. So Luxa from Zero, she had pictures of a beautiful steak dinner. So it's nice to finish off with a community event here after attending Liberland. Let's go check it out. There it is there. So out with, they're having a great time out at dinner. Makes me hungry when I watch these pictures. Do you guys get hungry too? I don't know. Look at that. Oh my God, I'm really hungry now. But it's pretty nice there. So they're having a great time after doing their conference. So cool. Yeah. I hate it when we see these family photos and all the food and all that. So they're always at some cool place eating it too. It's like, yeah, okay, great. But that's awesome. We got honorable mentions. We got Fat Sammy. Fat Sammy on the honorable mention says, "We are so back, PulseChain." Of course, they're looking awesome. So thanks, Fat Sammy. Havita Hex, one of our largest female PulseChain influencers. She got 46,000 followers. This says, "Returned after a long break. I'm honestly glad. I never doubted or talked badly about Richard Hart and his inventions." So she's excited to be back now. Obviously, PulseChain pumping. Toby one of our influencers as well, does a lot of great TAs. So check out him for TA, particularly around X and the cause. He says PulseChain cause TA time for Toby one. So we're going to check that out quickly. And that is, you can go in the deep dive there if that gives you another perspective on the charts. Kind of cool. What else we got there? We got Hex Health Nurse. Wished a happy birthday to Sammy Chica. So happy birthday to Sammy Chica. Max Kane, rising PulseChain influencer, kind of a youngest chap, doing a great job. Says released a new video for wider crypto audience. What is PulseChain? So that's from Max Kane. You can see in bottom left there, doing a great job with that. So let's smash that like. Got 11,000 views on that. So getting picked up by some of the bigger influencers there, reposting. So nice. Weekly DeFi scoop. Well, we got True DeFi, as we talked about, bringing the managed funds approach to PulseChain. 2x your Pulse miners. You put Pulse in, get 2x back. That's the idea. Build shares and receive Pulse dividends. And of course, they're ramping up their multi-chain DeFi expansion as well. So big shout out to them, and also running the DeFi space every week. SwitchX, of course, from Brandon. Stop swapping and start switching. Absolutely, on page 3. VersaVault there, 7% interest loans. We've got our 6th liquidity fork coming with VersaVault. It's got some of its own secret sauce there. We're watching that. Of course, Raider Next as well, DeFi space, fastest growing LP staking platform from Crypto Bro. Big shout out to him. And then, of course, Crypto Night Show. There was so much news, guys. We've had an overflow into the Crypto Night Show. So we've got some really cool projects and people spotlights in the Crypto Night Show post as well. So there's a page 6 pages of the monster thread. Let's quickly go through some of these images. Look at this, our community. Isn't it great? Also shiny. Don't tell them I said that, right? Also shiny there. Of course, back to the food celebrations there. We're all hungry now. And, of course, presenting out there, working hard, spreading a PulseChain. And, of course, you got Cabana and Brandon there as well. So it's just some of the images that made it into the main monster thread. Page 2, of course, is a True DeFi. And, of course, they said the UI waits, the opportunity doesn't. And, of course, they've got all their socials there. But look at the summary here of their performance. So 76,417 miners, 549 billion pulses routed through it. And of course, it's an idea. You put Pulse in, you get 2x Pulse out there. And of course, it's a free service there with the 2x. You can check out some of the details down the bottom here. But these guys have been on the move. Thousands of people now double do Pulse through through True DeFi. Next page up, we had, of course, SwitchX. Of course, stop losing Hex on every trade. We've seen some big whales just losing Hex on trades unnecessarily. And of course, even smaller people, you can make decent savings out of here, 10, $50 sort of thing. Switch finds the best route every time. Whales hate leaving money behind. An example was a whale that did $15,800 USDC buying, and Switch they got 3.9. They would have got 3.91 million, but in others on average they got 3.86 million. So 54,000 more Hex there. So it all adds up, doesn't it? All adds up there. Better than a lot of the competition there. They also have limit orders, and limit orders are surging, which is really great to see. People using limit orders. There's probably at least 5 or 6 main use cases for limit orders, and people using that as well. There's an infographic there. They're increasing their integrations, so Hex Toys and Matthias. They've also adapted very good for tax tokens. They got 23 liquidity sources that they route through. Gas and slippage has been optimized as well. So yeah, basically switch and swap. I've used it many times, guys. It is awesome. And of course, Brandon there leading the way there. And you can sort of see the limit order growth looking really good. 1,860 limit orders now. Remember when it was like 200-300? Now it's like 1,860. That's pretty cool. So doing a great job there with one of our top DEX aggregators with Switch. Also, we've got obviously this new liquidity fork from Triple Dad coming up. I believe that they're in final testing this week, guys. So we could have a launch either at the end of August or at the beginning of September there. So they're getting very close to that. But basically, they're going to have a new stablecoin called VSD, a new token for the protocol of Versa, VRSA. And of course, this is going to have some pretty cool stuff here with this liquidity fork. I think they've introduced a bit of a reflection token in there, as well as a special pegging mechanism as well. And you'll obviously be able to earn liquidity yields in this platform as well. White paper is now live. Launch is pretty imminent. And so, yeah, just give a follow there. Join up to the Telegram, and you can chat with Triple Dad himself in there as well, and check out all the dApps there. But a nice little flow chart of how Versa is all going to work. Now you can make money out of it. Kind of cool. So liquidity number 6 is coming. Radon X course is staking hub there. It's been really ramping up, 14 live pools. You can check that out for a lot of yield opportunities as well. So that's for Radon X, and Crypto Bros being the founder of that. They finished their 21-day auction, now moving in perpetual auctions, and they've got a lot of live LPs there to go check out. So you can go check out Radon X on the website and check out the yields there. So pretty cool. There's a cool graphics there on all the key metrics there, looking pretty nice. And finally, we get to what? We get to the Crypto Night Show Monster Thread. We had such overflow with news these days, the last couple of weeks in particular. This has really been building out. So Superman's X-Ray Vision community picks. We got Zero Trust celebrated its 1-year anniversary, so a big shout out to them. Guess we'll have to give them a little clap, right? A little clap there. Yeah. We got was it iGlue Bamboo shares updates as well with was it Banana Masick, Ashes of Infinity development. I'm not sure what this is about actually. Still a few bugs. So maybe what's this? Some sort of trying to see what this is actually. What is this? Try to read it as fast as I can. I'm not sure what it is. Some sort of game, something like that. I'm not sure what this is actually. Infinity development restart planning. Yeah, so they're doing something in 3D. So that might be worth checking out. That could be really cool. We might follow it up again. So that's coming up there. RH Max did a recent stream on PyPool, PulseChain validation infrastructure layer. So if you want to get into the geeky side of things, you can check that out with RH Max. So it's kind of cool. He's got a guest on there, I think. There we go. Do that. Al there down the bottom there. Looking good. All right, what else there? We got Top Farm, Emmett Farm. Obviously, Kairos out there giving you guys high yields. Has been hugely successful on PulseChain. Top Farm, Emmett Farm dropped new pools with PulseChain's 2 biggest public validators, Vouch and Validator X there. So if you like Lido or Rocket Pool on Ethereum, it's kind of your similar type of projects. And now with the Top Farm, Emmett Farm. Pretty cool. Big shout out to Kairos. He knows how to play the game. He makes great value for people. We got what's that? Abdel there. She had a heartfelt reply to Pulse Vision's question on how he discovered Hex and PulseChain. which is kind of cool. What a great photo that is, though. I love it. More food too, more food. I know it's a tough one. The monster thread, you probably get extremely hungry during the monster thread. Maddie Allen, obviously running our conferences and top PulseChain influencer, gave PulseChain and bit price predictions. So we're getting all the guys getting back with the price predictions there. You can check him out on the show there with his DeLorean. Back from the future is Maddie Allen. So kind of cool. Cryptographics, another top PulseChain influencer. Happy first birthday to Unity. And of course, we followed Unity pretty closely with new tokenomics on PulseChain. So big shout out there to Cryptographics. It's got a big breakdown of all that too, if you want to read about that, if you've got some Unity. Execute, one of our X-Space influencers, hosted PulseChain as the Goody Chain, and also covered Wick, which is a bit of that AI from the team there. I'm just trying to remember his name, but there we go. Execute in the mix there with the X-Space. Vajol there, also Hex has outperformed the majority outs on this run, and certainly has indeed. So we've got a little post there of the altcoin X outperforming. And finally, Annabelle there dropped another article on the rise of TVL and activity on PulseChain. Now, she's quite a large, I think, a rising star influencer there. What she's got there, 35,000 followers. And she's been doing a whole series on PulseChain. Look at that. PulseChain reached 77 million. Obviously, we're well over that now, but that was a pretty cool story. When did you write that story? A little while back. Now it becomes a real test. So on the up and up there. From that, you can see how comprehensive it is. Pretty neat. I was just trying to find the date on it, actually, on this article. Should be doing a big series. Look at that. Oh, my gosh. That's the 19th of August. What are we now? 25th. So about 6 days ago. So the world has changed a lot since then. Data checked 18th of August there. So there we go. Even doing a bit more stuff there. So that is the monster thread. We've got quite a few tickers to watch there, including Peacock and PTC and others. And then, of course, the Kryptonite Show doing daily shows, 9 p.m. Eastern. And boy, what a show we've done today. We've got a few images to wrap it up. PulseChain, TVL there. We've got the RH Max as well. We've got the lads, and we've got the iPad. So some cool stuff there. That's the monster thread number 68, guys. It is a monster. It is an absolute monster there. We even got Zero Trust response here. Thanks for the shout out, MVS. Updated Zero Trust Network compilation. See what we've been up to. So awesome stuff there. Emmett Farm there. Thanks for the shout out. So many PulseChain legends. Absolutely. We got iGlue in there as well, who was featured. Nice stuff there. We got Xavier, one of the top 2,500 influencers in the X, 556,000 followers. The PulseChain community is unstoppable, he says. So there we go. How many? We had a couple of influencers in the last week with over 500,000. Ivan on Tech, Vasily, I think, as well, pretty big. You saw Gala there, over 500,000, 600,000 followers. So we're getting some of the top 2,500 influencers on X, covering PulseChain to some degree. So that's a little side thought there. And it's kind of cool to see, right? Kind of cool to see there. Annabelle says thanks out so much as well. So lots of cool stuff there from people loving the monster thread there. Looking very, very cool. All right, so that's it. Share it around to your friends. It's perfect for sharing around. Monster thread number 68 is out and about. Spread it around. Spread the word. Bring more people into the PulseChain community. This is how it rock and rolls. We're at the beginning of the move. Finished the first wave, second wave on the move there. Looking really cool. All right, so we're going to finally, just to wrap up, we're up to 2 hours and 30 minutes on this live stream. You guys are crazy, man. You guys are crazy. Let's see what else there. Diamond Hand says, can you check on Strategy to see how much higher they need to go before buying again? BTC is still pumping. Strategy buying. You're talking about MicroStrategy strategy. How do they need to go before buying in? It's still about $2.30 on the stretch is what they're talking about there. I don't think they're going to do. That's kind of what we're looking at there. We would track it. They're not quite there on the debt market. Up season only, says Sean. Absolutely up season. Dutch says P Tiger. Well, P Tiger's done like a 23x, isn't it? So you can't complain about that. Let's roll, says Jewish Gum. Absolutely. We've got Frank White here from the PulseChain ecosystem map. PLS Start. Good morning. Good night. Hey, Frank. Always a pleasure. A big shout there. And then Sean O'Malley says, Raid on X is the bomb on Hex, Peacock, and Pulse Farms. Nice. So, yeah, some nice yields there. Check it out. All right. Let's finally check up on the markets there. The majors. Bitcoin's trying to take out the bad boy. We'll see where it's going at the moment. And, of course, Ethereum, probably just a late mover. We'll keep a lookout for that too. We're just going to go to CoinGecko this time and just see where things are at. So we've got Bitcoin on average. The average price, $80,600 right now. So it's busted over 80K. That's the news today. Got to head up towards that 82,200, 82,300 mark, and particularly get it break over 83 and beat out the previous third lower high and move us on into the bull market. That probably that final confirmation, I think, for that. Obviously, we need to actually close on the weekly there, but looking good. Ethereum there at 2,506, a little bit lagged, but up 3.4%. We could get a big move there. There's not probably a big liquidity gap once we get over 2650, 2850, and up and away, right? Excuse me. And so yeah, good stuff there. Top movers right now in the top there, we see Injective number one there in the last 24 hours. So we've got a couple of movers there. And then over the last week, of course, back to Athena there, up 88%. That's kind of where we are. So I think we're going to finish there, guys. I think my voice is probably maxed out too. 2 hours and 15 minutes. We covered it all, guys. What did we cover? What did we not cover on the Crypto Night Show? You guys know the largest PulseChain influencer covering everything, stock market, economics, crypto majors, PulseChain, top 100. We're the only ones doing comprehensive coverage on a daily basis. If you're loving it, smash the subscribe on YouTube, smash the subscribe on X. We've done over 2,500 videos now, so over 6 years daily videos. 7 years, close to 7 years daily videos. And of course, bear market, bull market, we've been here and we've been through it all, and it's exciting times. I'm really looking forward to the next 3 years, guys, because it's going to be where the true magic money is made. We've got a fundamental structural shift underway. It's unlike any other cycle we've had before. We've got it all happening, guys. Digital credit, stable coins, tokenization, agentic AI. It's all game on, guys. Massive growth. We've got institutions coming in, flocking in. We've got retail adoption sitting just ahead of us. I think it's going to be exciting, and potentially sovereign state investing as well. So it's game on. It's game on. Enjoy. All right, catch you on the next one. Don't forget, if you want to find out more, get into our strategy club. Links in the video description on YouTube. It's pinned to the top of X. Go to the Root store, join up. Just over $1 a day, so only about $35 a month. Very good value, and you get all the latest deep dives in there every single day. I'm posting in there. All right, take care. Catch you on the next one. I'm going to get changed and fly off into the cold. This is what happens every day on the live stream. Very, very cool.